Hello and welcome to Stretford, Paddock. This is the watch-along, the final watch-along of the season. Manchester United versus Aston Villa. It's almost over. One more 90 minutes to get through and it is done. I'm joined by Finn and Ronaldo. Finn, first of all, not seen you since the Europa final. We're not going to talk about it and dwell on it too much, but it will be the sort of the subtext to a few of the conversations we have today. How are you and how are you doing since that game?
I'm doing okay, all things considered.
Good.
That's always going to be in the back of my mind for probably the rest of the summer.
Probably the rest of our lives.
But yeah, actually,
it will be there somewhere.
Yeah. But I'm trying to be optimistic.
Good.
And look forward to the future. So I'm doing all right.
Good. Well, there's loads to get through, so loads of reasons to be optimistic potentially. Ronaldo Brown, how are you?
Sounds quite downbeat, don't you, for someone that's just got Serie A MVP. I don't want to skid out.
Congratulations,
I
by the way.
thought I'd make the trip back.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I love that. I'm really happy for Scott McTominay. I think, and actually, we're going to get to the team news in a second, but I don't mind starting with Scott McTominay because I think he is a good sort of prototype or archetype, should I say, for something that we are experiencing as United fans, which is the whataboutism or what-if-ism. Scott McTominay was sold in the summer. Eric Ten Hag, I know people blame him for every transfer. By the time he didn't want to sell him, I think it was a club decision, or that seemed to be the reporting at the time. Has gone away, has been fantastic, won a second Scudetto in I think 3 years with Napoli. Obviously he only has won this one. Was the MVP of the league, has been phenomenal as a hero over there. We've seen similar things with Anthony at Betis. I think he's got 9 goals, 5 assists or something in that ballpark, which is absolutely exceptional. We've seen, not quite to the same extent, but we saw Marcus Rashford starring in a Champions League quarter-final against PSG, a narrow loss there in that game. It seems to be the case at the moment that leaving Manchester United is good for a player's career. Just specifically on McTominay, because we'll get to Garnacho in a minute once we've seen the team news. Are you happy for him? Do you wish we never sold him? Is this proof that we were wrong to sell him, or is there somewhere in between?
I'm very happy for him.
Yeah,
he's an academy product of Manchester United, and it's great to see him doing well. He's always, been a loyal servant for the club. Was never particularly outspoken in the media. Always, kept his head down, worked hard. But that being said, as long as United are always underperforming, there's always going to be this revisionistic hindsight and outcome bias. In terms of how we evaluate who leaves the club. Until we start performing on the pitch, it's always going to be, well, they're performing well now. We should have never got rid of him. Yeah. If you look at the situation that he was in and the situation the club were in, there was barely anyone saying at the time, this is a dreadful decision, we can't get rid of him. Because the truth is, he didn't perform consistently. He didn't represent the direction the club were trying to be headed in. I think most people agreed at the time that a move away from the club, especially for the little bit of cash that it was going to give us, was probably the right decision.
Yeah.
What was more important is how we replaced him. And obviously it wasn't a like-for-like replacement, but the main midfield signing was Manuel Ugarte. And I think most people would also agree that he hasn't been the answer to what United need in the midfield this season. Obviously it's not all on him, our underperformance. But yeah, until United get the recruitment right and start performing on the pitch, we will always be able to have these conversations fueled by revisionism about whether we should have let go of him. But no, I don't think it was a wrong decision based on the fact that he's doing well now.
What do you think, Ronnie?
I think he summed it up perfectly.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him. I was a big critic of him whilst he was here. And I think it's a situation of him going somewhere where he was able to be got behind, platformed and played in a position that suits him, which he couldn't play in Manchester United too often. Obviously we had Bruno Fernandes playing there, and he's basically a second striker behind kind of box crashing midfielder, isn't it? And his exploits in the box, because when he does get there he is brilliant. I think it suited him, obviously in a league that's slightly inferior, and obviously he did come off a season of scoring quite a few goals for us as well. And that's always seemed to be where his abilities lied. I think our issue with McTominay when he was here was obviously his actual on-ball ability, and in terms of passing and obviously ball retention and that type of midfielder things that you would probably need from someone in the pivot, even though we did have some decent spells of McFred, which I do remember. But I'm happy that he's gone and done better and done well for himself. I did enjoy seeing him do that, and it's the same thing when you see players kind of leave the environment and go somewhere. I'm not going to say where the pressure's less, because there is definitely pressure playing for Napoli and Naples, I can tell you that. But it's probably Conte, and obviously you've got Mourinho in the past, and you had Ten Hag. He does seem to be a player that managers favour, and he was a valuable asset to the squad. But I think for him to, I don't want to be too revisionist about he should have stayed and we shouldn't have got the money for him. But yeah.
I think you're spot on about the platforming of players, because I don't think it was any secret that McTominay was and has been capable of being a kind of potent goal-scoring threat when he makes those kind of late runs into the box and when he takes up advanced positions. We've seen him do that for United for a few seasons. I mean, he was a striker at academy level. But it's about whether you're willing to platform him in that way, given the balance of the rest of the squad. And I think, again, with where United are at and the decision, the direction we're headed in, it didn't make sense for him to have that role in the squad. And so then people act surprised when he goes on and is platformed in the way that we know he kind of should be and performs. But it's just about what's best for where United are headed.
He got 7 league goals for United last season, which would put him second highest scorer for Man United this season, which is absolutely astonishing, really. I think, and even Bruno, who's our top scorer in the league, has only got 8 Premier League goals. So McTominay would be right up there with our most dangerous players in the offensive positions. But yeah, I don't want to repeat too much of what you said, Finn, because I think you summed it up nicely. He's not the type of player that we want to be relying on moving forward.
And I think those numbers are, if anything, more a reflection of how astonishingly bad United are in front of goal, rather than necessarily him being the answer to everything we need.
Completely. Do we have the team lineup available? And if so, let's have a look at it. Let's go through that now. United's final game of the season. Let's go through this. We've got Bayindir in goal. No Onana in the squad whatsoever. That's one to look into in just a minute. We've got Lindelof, Maguire, Aidan Heaven returning to the starting lineup as well, which is always good to see. No Yoro in the squad whatsoever either. Then we've got Mazraoui, Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes and Dorgu. The same sort of middle four that we saw in that Europa final on Wednesday. Then we've got Mount, Ahmad and Højlund, again unchanged from Wednesday night. One person that we need to talk about early on is Alejandro Garnacho. Not in the squad at all today. It was reported around 24 hours ago from David Ornstein, and this was his tweet yesterday on X. He said, exclusive, Ruben Amorim informs Manchester United squad he will be in charge next season and tells Alejandro Garnacho to find a new club. Happened during the meeting between the Portuguese head coach and the players at the Carrington training base today. That was yesterday. Obviously massive news. One of Man United's sort of young, bright stars over the last few seasons. One of the glimmers of hope that we've had, that the future might be a little bit brighter than the present has been. But things do seem to have soured over the last 12 months with Garnacho. Form not improving, seems to have maybe stalled a little bit in his development, and then we see the influx and sort of increase of him and his entourage on social media with anywhere between cryptic and outright sort of dissenting quotes against the manager. I'll start with you, Ronnie. What do you make of this? Is it the right thing to do? Are you surprised? And do you sort of back Amorim in his decision, assuming this is true? It's David Ornstein, we can assume that it's true.
I think it's the right thing to do, because what he did say, whether you agree or not with the actual things he did say or his thoughts, coming out after the final and saying that publicly and undermining the manager wasn't great at all, and it showed obviously a poor attitude, and it showed a lot of things that have been in line with the behaviour we've seen from Garnacho ever since he's arrived in the first team. Because I even think that when he first came to the first team, he had a couple of disciplinary issues in terms of his lateness and his punctuality, and then Ten Hag left him out, and this was in pre-season.
I think he was one of the players who left the game early as well with Ronaldo, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's had
season before last.
He's had many issues, many problems, and you talk about obviously his brother online and these lineup leaks. It's just been too much of a circus in and around him for someone that's just about to turn 21 years of age, and for the output and what he's actually given the team, it's not worth it. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I think you can almost half blame United's recruitment as well, and also the form of the senior players in his position, that he's had to play so many games.
Yeah.
Because he's not been ready to be relied upon to be starting week in, week out, but he's had to. And then what's happened now is you've had about a year of him starting pretty much every game. And it's obviously inflated his ego, which was already pretty big. And I thought there's always going to be a circumstance with him where if United did go into the market and buy a player in his position or upgraded in the front line, and he would have had to become a rotational player from someone that was starting, he never struck me as someone that would have been okay with that. And I think if United weren't to get rid of him now, he'd become a problem later.
Yeah.
And and I think that's one of the obvious things.
I'm just going to go through some of those the quotes that we're talking about here for anyone who missed them or wants a refresher. So this was post Europa League final. He said, after this season that was shit. He said, until the final I played every round helping the team. Then the final arrives and I play 20 minutes. I don't know. I will try to enjoy the summer. Then we will see what happens. To me, it's a mixture of things. Is he talking about I'll enjoy the summer and then we'll see what happens next season? Is he talking about I'll enjoy the summer as in my little summer break and then we'll see if I get a transfer? I think it's it's a little bit open, it's a little bit ambiguous, but he's obviously, I don't want to say calling out the manager, he's expressing his dislike for only playing 20 minutes immediately after the game. What do you make of the quotes? What do you make of Amorim's reaction? And by the sound of it as well, some reports suggesting that he did it in front of the whole squad, that he kind of, said, basically, you can fuck off.
I think what we know about Amorim, you can criticise his tactical decisions, and obviously on the pitch we've been nowhere near good enough this season, but he is a culture creator, and there's a lot of focus for him on having the right personalities in the squad and creating the right atmosphere and the right culture to become a winning team. And he's made it clear that anyone that doesn't fit that is going to be handled accordingly. And it's clear that Garnacho is kind of causing issues in the squad. That's a big no-no for any player, and especially a Manchester United player, to be publicly undermining the manager. He's got almost this sense of entitlement, which I don't think is backed up by his performances.
Yeah.
No player is bigger than the club, and that's something we've said about Cristiano Ronaldo when he was leaving, and many other players who have done far more in a United shirt than Garnacho has. Yeah. So for him to be kind of this convicted of his right to be playing every game and to be having such a major role in the squad, I don't think it's supported by what he's done on the pitch and kind of the potential he shows. He does have the makings of a player who can have quite a consistent output on the pitch, because he's always getting himself in dangerous positions. He accumulates a lot of XG with his off-ball movement, but there are also big flaws in his game, mainly his decision-making, his finishing, his pass selection in the final third. A lot of the times it's off, and these are things that, get polished with time. But I'd also say I don't necessarily see the makings of a really elite level forward player that we're going to be looking at in a few years and thinking, God, how did we let go of him? But that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if in a year's time we're having similar conversations to those of Scott McTominay's season at Napoli. Garnacho could join him at Napoli and have a pretty successful season, especially going from the Premier League to the Italian League. That makes things easier. Apologies for my voice, by the way. I'm just coming off the end of a cold.
That's all right.
But yeah, I think, again, all things considered, it's the right decision to be letting him go now.
Just looking at some of those stats that you mentioned, in every season at Man United, he's underachieved against his XG. He should have scored 30 league goals and he scored 23. The other thing with him as well is in 93 appearances in the Premier League specifically, he's got 16 goals, which is obviously, again, a lot of these appearances are coming as a teenager. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to grade him comparison, or I'm not going to compare him, should I say, directly to players in their mid-20s and say, why isn't he doing better?
There's still appearances though, isn't it?
It is still it is, and I'm not, and we would have all hoped for a little bit more from him. But I do think that you mentioned before about Amorim being a culture creator. I think that's his biggest job at United. Mm-hmm. I think that's literally the single most difficult and most crucial thing that he is entrusted with at Manchester United. Yeah. The players, that isn't. I mean, it's up to him to a certain degree, and obviously the culture and the personality of those players is important. But as in transfers specifically, Ineos are worrying about that. In terms of the tactics, I do think that tactics are obviously very important, but so many managers know so much about shape, about space, about how to press, how to defend. I don't think that you can. I don't think personally you can create a massive differential between you and everyone else in the league by having the best tactics. I think
as long as you have a kind of basic understanding of tactics and you're not like miles off in that department,
I think
then
you
it's
have
a player's game.
Yeah, because and obviously tactics do matter, and the manager's ability to get those into the players. Obviously, of course, it all matters. But I don't think that anyone in world football at the minute is miles ahead of anyone else tactically. I think there are certain managers that are better than others and that seem to have it worked out for a couple of seasons. But I just think that the reason United are 17th isn't because Amorim doesn't have tactics. That just isn't the case.
The best teams in the world right now are the teams with the best players in the world.
Yeah,
it's kind of as simple as that.
And the other thing as well with that is top players aren't. There are some exceptions to this. A lot of the top players in the world aren't like problem players anymore. The days of like, he's your best player, but he's a dickhead and you have to put up with him, they're sort of gone a little bit. Like you look through the Premier League, I'm good, thank you. Look through the Premier League, like I know Salah and Klopp had that little argument on the touchline, but generally speaking, Salah, you don't ever hear anything about him off the pitch. You don't see anything about him in terms of problems, this, that and the other. Look at De Bruyne, look at Saka at Arsenal. Yeah. If someone told me that Saka just disappears when he leaves the pitch, I would believe it. It's like he just spawns to be a footballer. He works really hard, he does everything he can, and then he doesn't exist. It's exactly what you want from your best player. I think Bruno Fernandes the same. Yeah. The days of being a sort of troubled, difficult character,
there's no room for
unless you're Mbappe levels of good. It's not worth it.
Even then, I think there's an argument to be had that PSG were potentially being held back by how much weight Mbappe carried in that squad. They've got rid of a couple of the huge personalities, equally, huge players in Mbappe, Neymar, Messi. These are, bona fide world-class elite players. But they've now created a squad which is a lot more balanced, and there's quality across the board. Yeah. But it's balanced in terms of the personalities as well. Yeah. There's no troublemakers. There are no personalities with this sense of entitlement, and it works a lot better. And I think that's a kind of necessity in modern football now, is to have that balance. And I think PSG are such a good example of, they've come on leaps and bounds because of their, restructuring of the squad
massively. And I think as well that in the past, and part of me, I don't love this. I don't love the fact that personality is being sort of wrung out of the game in favour of kind of performance droids that will just follow the instructions. But that sort of is what's happened a little bit. So the likes of, Adriano's or Ronaldinho's, who may be off the pitch doing mad stuff or, getting in trouble with the police or whatever, but they're worth it because they'll win you a league title by themselves, or they will make the difference in the Champions League. That sort of player used to be accepted and loved. Now they don't make it, because you have to be able to do the same thing week in, week out and perform and win. And I just think that, there's a reason why the top players, you don't hear much about them off the pitch. And PSG is a perfect example of that. You look at, they had three of the best, probably 10 players in the world playing for them at one point. They never looked really like winning a Champions League. They got to the final in 2020. And I think Bayern Munich won that and deserved to win it. But I just think, you're only as good as, maybe not your worst player, but having the best players seemingly isn't the way to win. Your top level, top players isn't the whole picture. Yeah. How good is your worst player? How good is your worst three players? Mm-hmm. That probably tells you more about your chances of winning things than how good are your best three. We've got a few super chats here. I'm going to get into these. Brad Painter says, shame Kone isn't on the bench. Why not start Chido? We'll get into that actually, because I do wonder why we haven't seen a few more academy players playing today. Coach Zach, always in the chat, thank you very much, Zach. He says, this lineup is a joke. Why not play a few kids? What are we doing? Farewell game for these lot. I just don't get it. Why no Kone or Camerson on the bench? Ronnie, why do you think that we've not seen a little bit more rotation? Obviously Heaven, who is not an academy player but is a very young player, is coming. But other than that, it's pretty full strength.
It's because we're playing against Aston Villa, which are one of the better teams in the league, who is it pretty much a must win?
Yes,
it's a game that they need to win. Last game of the season against Villa, I think if against a side like that, if we went out and played a bunch of academy kids and a bit of a lopsided team, we could get turned over at home. And I think the optics of that wouldn't look great. So I never really expected him to rotate a huge amount, to be fair. I thought he'd implement a couple more youngsters, maybe a couple more academy lads on the bench for sure. But I didn't expect him to basically field an under-21 reserve side, because you can sit there and be like, who cares, it's the final game, the season, got nothing to play for. But really, do you want Manchester United? Because that's what it still is, Manchester United going out there and getting battered 5-6-0 at home by Villa because of it.
Losing 7 of their last 9 games.
So I think, I always expected the lineup to look something like that.
Just on the Aston Villa situation, so as it stands, they are 6th with 66 points, Chelsea 5th with 66 points, Forest 7th with 65 points. So if Villa win, they're guaranteed 6th. And that means that if Newcastle or Chelsea, if Newcastle or Chelsea drop any points and Villa win, they will get Champions League football. If City lose and Villa win, they will get Champions League football. So if Villa win today, unless all 3 of those teams
there's your
mates
win,
there's a decent chance that they will get Champions League football. Brighton, you're referencing there, are in 8th. No chance of any European football, which is nice to see. Someone mentioned in the comments, and this is a fair point, Ryan. Ryan Milligan says, Joe, you've also said that you won't win anything without 3 or 4 world-class players. Completely. But that's not at the expense of the rest of the squad. You know, PSG still have world-class players, but it's not because, you know, there's many types of world-class player, isn't there? There's, like I said, there's the Mbappe, Messi, Neymar style, where we're going to stand on the halfway line and let you sort everything. They've got world-class talent.
There's a smaller gap between the best and the worst in their squad.
That's what you need. You need good players throughout the squad, and unfortunately, you also need the world-class players. And then the very best teams of all time have a high floor and high ceiling. Mm-hmm. Look at Barcelona teams. Look at Man United's team in 2008. Who was the weak link in that? I genuinely
even the ones that are coming off the bench are still top level.
Well, we had Wes Brown playing for most of the season because Gary Neville was injured, and he was fantastic that season. Yeah. You know, on any other week you might look at that squad and say, well, Wes Brown's probably a weak link. He was brilliant.
This is why I think in a lot of the conversations we've had this season about surely you look at that United squad and surely they're not 16th, 17th level, and maybe they are a few positions higher than that, but you have to look at the floor of the squad. More importantly, you can always name a starting 11 that looks like it's got the ability to be in the upper ends of the league, but you instantly look to the bench and you read the names there, and suddenly the drop in quality is enormous.
And this is with a relatively full-strength bench,
exactly,
which we haven't had for most of the season. There was some benches this season where you look at them and it was all kids, Johnny Evans and Christian Eriksen. And not to have a go at any of the academy players, it's not their fault. But if you want to win things and you want to actually not even win things, get top half, you need full-time professionals up there.
The only thing I'd say is I would have hoped to have seen maybe a couple more young players on the bench today.
Yeah, me too. Sorry, JBone McSwiggins says, Joe, I've been watching for 10 years. You're my favourite host. It's a shame I've got to take you around the back of Asda and absolutely smash your back doors in. Cheers, JBone. This sort of thing, this narrative of me fighting people behind the Asda persists, and JBone's taking it a step further there. But Jav says, each to their own. Isaac, why start Højlund and Mount after being shy? Would you have started Cheeto today?
I would have started Cheeto, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I don't see how he could be much worse than Højlund. I think, obviously, I get the lack of rotation for the most part, but I was pretty sure that Cheeto would start up front instead of Højlund, especially with Højlund possibly being shopped as well in the summer.
Is Onana not even in the squad?
No, he's not in the squad.
Do we know what's going on?
I think he's another one that Amram wants to can.
But you can't. But fucking hell, what's going on?
There's 3 players that were reported just today alone that Amram is basically saying in a bit, and all 3 of them are in the squad. So that's Garnacho, Onana, and he also doesn't want Luke. He's also canned Luke Shaw.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
But this is the kind of ruthlessness that I think we've been asking for a long time.
We might turn up with a fucking whole new 11 next season. It's going to be like...
I read something that in Amram's first season at Sporting, they got rid of 24 players in his first summer.
That's everyone.
That's
the whole squad. How can you do that?
Obviously, that's not going to be possible at a club like United, with the stature of the players and their wages and everything. But we need to at least have the ambition of having quite a ruthless clear out, and there's going to be fan favourites who need to go.
That's the only thing that could excite me about next season. Obviously, there are still flaws that I keep popping up in terms of the system, and the way we play.
Yeah,
it's not just purely going to be a scenario where United sign 3 or 4 players and we automatically jump up 10 places. It's not just players that need to be improving, personnel needs to improve. Amrim also does need to improve as well. It's a collective thing. But I think one of the only things that will excite me would be like if it's like a massive overhaul of new players.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to lie to you, because I did say this a couple of days ago on Twitter, I was like, part of me is going into next season for the first time in years feeling a little bit mentally checked out because I'm not really expecting too much of anything. Because I'm not going to lie to you, the past 40 games that I've seen under Amram hasn't given me a lot of to be excited about. And I don't care if people think that's negative or whatever, but that's just the bottom line of it, to be fair.
That's the thing. I think a lot of people are asking, to those who are still in full support of Amram, and I'm probably still in that camp, a lot of people are asking, well, what is it that you've seen on the pitch that gives you any reason to continue to back him? And I cannot give you a great, compelling answer to that, which is obviously very concerning.
Not great,
damning. But the important thing for me right now is he does understand the need for the shift in culture. He does understand the type of players that we need to be recruiting. He seems to have a good grasp of the problems at the club, and I think that is almost enough, given how badly we need to shift the culture. I think that's almost enough to continue to back him for at least a season, of giving that platform for change. So that's where a lot of my backing for him currently comes from. It's not necessarily what I've seen on the pitch, because obviously it hasn't been good enough.
Yeah, because are you not a little bit concerned? Because I've been watching a lot of the discourse since the final. I think it's been a majority. I think the likes of Garnacho have taken a little bit of the kind of the view. Taking the heat a little bit off Amarim. Do you know what I mean? In terms of taking quite a lot of the attention, because I know a lot of people do think this way, that all our players are just awful and it's never ever really the manager's fault. But I think that the narrative since the final has been a bit too swayed towards players, and the players will bring in, the players will get out, and this and that. And I don't think enough has been spoken about whether like Amram needs to like also buck up his ideas a little bit.
Yeah.
I there's nothing I've seen that tells me that United are going to sign like 7 or 8 like world-class players and then it's just going to be some massive turnaround. And I think that's when that makes me feel like when things are flawed, because United are going into the summer. How much money do you, from what you've seen so far under Amram, which is a big sample size, it's 41 games.
Yeah.
How much money do you think United need to spend this summer to jump from where we are now up into European places?
But is that
can United force exactly? But that's what I want my expectation to be. But for if I'm being kind of reasonable about it, honest to God, with United's financial situation and the likelihood of the makeup of the squad, plus what I've seen from Amram, because what we've seen this season has been a combination of players performing terribly, too many players not good enough, but also a manager getting a lot of things wrong. So that's, for me, I see it as, I don't think United can make much more of a leap than fighting for top half next season, unless United go out and spend 250, 300 million, and they pretty much they basically hit on every single transfer that they do.
I think the way they're going to be more likely to do that is by signing proven Premier League performers, which seems to be, at least how we're starting the window with the likes of Cunha, Delap, who's obviously not completely proven, but at least has a bit of a track record in the Premier League, and Bumo, players like that. I think that makes it a little bit safer, but you're right in that the recruitment needs to be spot on if we want to take a big jump.
But that's always the case.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I know you're not saying it isn't, but I think this whole thing of I see people saying United's recruitment needs to be amazing, otherwise we're not going to get any better. Yeah, that's football. That's how it works. If your squad isn't great, you're not great. And if your owners consistently waste money on bad players or toxic players or underperforming players who didn't suit the league or the system or the manager, then you're not going to get any better.
That's what I've seen.
And so yes, we need to spend well in the summer, but let's fucking start spending well then. Yeah. Let's be a club that does spend well.
A lot of what I've seen is saying that's only the case because of Amorim. Because of Amorim, recruitment needs to be spot on. No. Recruitment needs to be spot on anyway, regardless of who you've got managing the club. Recruitment has to be spot on because it's been the biggest issue for the last 5-10 years.
Yeah,
you have to get recruitment spot on.
The biggest name players United have signed. Let me have a look at United's top transfers. How long did they last at Man United? Let's have a look at that. Let's have a look. Paul Pogba, number one, lasted his full contract, right? Fair enough. A lot of people would say he wasn't worth the money, but at least he stuck here for 5 or 6 years.
Probably one of the better players.
Probably one of the best ones we've had. Anthony, after 2 years, ridiculed, he's gone. Harry Maguire, again, one of the few that's kind of almost worked out. He's had massive lows in this spell though, and it's hardly been plain sailing. Jadon Sancho was bang average since the moment we bought him and is now playing for Chelsea 3 years in. Was on loan last season as well, didn't work immediately. Lukaku lasted 2 years. Højlund is 2 years in and probably will leave in the summer. Di Maria lasted 1 season. Like, Casemiro is in his, third season or second season? It's his third season.
Third season, yeah.
Last season was a disaster. This season has been a little bit better.
But still...
Then you've got Mason Mount in 10th. And again, barely played, not worked out really. So we've spent money on big name players, big proven players. But we've wasted it. And if we can get someone in who costs 45 million, 50 million, 60 million, who's here for 5 years and who's very good for it, that isn't unthinkable. That's not like some mad target that no one can adhere to. We should be able to do that. And if we do, we'll get a lot better. I think for 150 million, you can take this team to the top half of the table also, quite comfortably.
How many of those... Yeah. How many of those...
So you're just thinking that's just personnel, not with the tactics being the exact same?
Well, I don't know if the tactics will be the exact same with different personnel. Because I can tell you, if we've got a good striker, the tactic won't be stick Harry Maguire up front. There's a change in tactic immediately. And if we hadn't have sold Scott McTominay, it would have been stick McTominay up front. You think he would be the one that had maybe scored the goal against Lyon, that would have been up front for us against Tottenham on Wednesday?
I agree with Joel. So I think better personnel could probably take us just about to top half.
The thing is...
But then, I think breaking into that top 7-ish now, which it is...
Yeah.
We're way too far away to be worrying about the likes of Man City, Arsenal.
Yeah, let's not worry about them. Let's worry about Brighton.
We need
Forest,
to be worried about Brighton, Villa, Tottenham, Chelsea. That's what we need to be concerned about. And I think for us to overtake them and bridge that gap, there needs to be a combination of, as I've said, better personnel.
Yeah.
But Amorim needs to go into the lab this summer, look at what's worked and what's not worked tactically.
Absolutely.
Over the 41 games and change things. If he has this idea in his head that a lot of people are peddling and blowing smoke into his ears, that it's not him and it's just these players are shit, and he goes into the same way, then he might be in for a rude awakening. Do you know what I mean?
I agree with
that. There's got to be a bit of self-reflection as well.
I also agree, but I also think there's a bit of a misconception about this idea that Amorim is just completely unwilling to change his tactics. I think when people say tactics, a lot of the time what they mean is formation. Yeah. And I think we know he's not going to change.
Formation.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you do. I know. Yeah, but for the broad discourse, a lot of it comes down to formation when that's actually quite a secondary consideration.
Yeah.
But Amorim, throughout his career at Sporting, his kind of tactical vision underwent a lot of different iterations and a lot of different changes, and he has made tweaks even this season tactically in terms of how we build up, our shapes in and out of possession. He is willing to adapt and willing to make these changes, and in terms of how he's spoken to the media across his career, mainly at Sporting, he's said many times that he's willing to make those adaptations.
Yeah,
I think he won't compromise on the formation. That seems to be one of the kind of mainstays of his vision.
But I don't think that's a problem, though.
No,
I think within that formation, there's so much variety that you can have. It doesn't, you can still get 7 players on their last line. You can still have.
I've not seen that. I've seen it being quite rigid. Do you know what I mean? That could be personnel and players not being able to do it yet. So I'll have to
because
see
when Ahmad plays wing back, that looks completely different to when Mazraoui plays wing back.
Yeah.
You know, and exactly. I don't assume that. And so either Amram is being flexible in his tactics by those two players looking different, which would be a tick in his column, or personnel matters, which again is a tick in the column that we can actually improve. And the other thing that we're sort of leaving out of all this that I talk about all the time is confidence.
Yeah.
Add 150 million worth of good players in and get some confidence back in. You know, Dalot, Ahmad, Mount, Bruno, even in the Premier League. Then all of a sudden it's a lot better. Yeah. It's not that hard.
Do you know what I'm going off? I'm going off that there's been 3 managers, I think, that have come out and after games have beaten us and said, oh yeah, we knew what they were going to do, we know how they play. Yeah. And that was alarm bells when I started hearing that.
I think that could be down to personnel as well, just as much as it's down to the manager. Because
why are we so easy to prepare for? Because there's a lot of teams that we're playing. It's like Tottenham and it was like West Ham at the time. The teams that are playing against us, having not won in 5 or 6 games or in a poor run of form, and you turn up against us and get a result and then the manager comes out after the game and goes, oh yeah, they play the exact same way every single time. They're easy to set up for. They're easy to press against.
But I think you can only be as adaptable as your squad allows for. So I think it's part of the reason managers.
So you arguing that it's just that's the narrative that I'm trying to fight against this, because I think people have got this kind of copium thing in their head where it's just better players and they know everything's going to be rosy, and then Amram doesn't have to look at himself at all.
No.
I disagree with that.
No, for me, Amram absolutely has to improve on a number of things. I am just so reluctant to talk about, the manager needs to be the foremost change at the club, when we have seen the players be, underperform under a number of different successful managers at other clubs again and again and again. I'm not saying that any of the managers we've had post Sir Alex Ferguson have been good enough to lead United forward, but they have all been successful in other environments with other players. Yeah. And so Amram is definitely not devoid of blame, and he definitely needs to improve.
Do you know that narrative that people push of, oh, it's the players throwing the manager on the bus again, it's the players getting another manager sacked? That type of, is this the same set of players that were here under Ollie? Is this the same set of players that were here under Van Gaal?
No, is this the same set of players? We're not saying that.
It's different players.
They're players being recruited by the same people, though. They're players being recruited with the same failure, and in terms of the methodology of recruitment, they're not the right players. It's not the same players, themselves, but it's the same culture. It's the same kind of type of player that hasn't been good enough for so many years. I don't subscribe to those narratives that they throw managers under the bus or anything like that. I think they're just simply not good enough. So I think you have to have a conversation on both sides. Obviously the manager has to improve, but I'm kind of unwilling to dive really deeply into what the manager needs to change until we finally address the recruitment issue.
I agree. I mean, speaking of recruitment, there was one of the most, I've spoke about it before on here, and I've reached out to him, Tom Keane, who was one of the head negotiators for United in 2022. So only, 2 summer transfer windows ago, as it stands. When we bought Casemiro, when we bought Anthony, when we bought, who else? It wasn't Onana that season, was it? It was Ericsson and... Oh, not Mount. I can't remember. They were the big ones, obviously. Yeah. Casemiro and Anthony were the big ones.
Malacia.
Malacia. He turned up and did an interview with the Overlap, which I cannot understand why he did that, personally, just from a PR perspective. Yeah. But he was speaking about how, basically, everyone that was doing those deals that summer was just starting.
Yeah. He basically came out and said, oh yeah, we didn't really have a clue what we were doing.
We didn't know what we were doing. It was Ten Hag's first summer. He arrived in May. It was, I think, Richard Arnold and John Murtaugh's first proper summer. It was his first proper summer. He said that we didn't start the transfers stuff until the season had ended in late May.
He said May, didn't he?
Yeah, late May. So obviously, at the minute, Liverpool have already got Frimpong sorted. It looks as though they're on the way to Wirtz as well. United look to have Cunha, 9/10 done, let's say.
Yeah, apparently Delap as well is pretty much wrapped up.
Delap seems to be pushing on as well. We hadn't even started yet. It also, we then chased De Jong all summer, didn't get him, got Casemiro and Anthony. And that was 2 summers ago. So we're still sort of reeling from that 150 million quid that we spent.
And even last summer, I think it was a kind of similar lack of preparation, because the top decision makers had still only just come in.
Yeah.
I think outside of Euro, maybe Xerxes, I still think that in hindsight, personally, I would have gone for different players than we signed. I think this is our first summer in a long time where it seems like we're going in with a kind of clear plan of the positions and roles that have been identified as needing new players, and doing the groundwork early on those deals.
Yeah, and it's people who have been here for everyone who's doing those deals. Not all of the negotiators, but the main guys: Wilcox, Barada, to a lesser degree, obviously Ratcliffe and Jean-Claude Blanc and Vivell as well, who is relatively new but has been working sort of freelance or not permanently for months and months. But almost all of them have been here for at least 12 months now. Mm-hmm. They've been here the entire time that Amrim's been here. So they can see what he's doing. They've been watching it week in, week out, firsthand, not focusing on anything else. That should make a difference. It really should make a difference. We've got a few more super chats as well.
I also think sometimes it's more simple than you make it out to be. All of United's attacking players, bar Bruno Fernandes, consistently underperform their XG. Also, Ahmad kind of performs according to his XG. You look at Cunha and Bumo, Delap, Gyökeres is another one we're looking at. All of these players consistently across their career outperform their XG. Sometimes it's as simple as that. You need players who can put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah.
We tend to accumulate more XG than our opponents. Of course, there's nuance to that and there's reasons for that. But I think a huge step could be taken by just getting players
just having good finishers in the team.
Yeah. Do you know what I'd like to see on the XG thing? Because I'm not a big fan, as a lot of people, on XG. I use it sometimes, but I like to use it in context because I also want. I'd like to know the amount of XG that United have generated when the game's been in the balance or when it's been 0-0.
Yeah.
Compared to the XG United create once we've gone a goal down and the other teams then sit back and we've had to chase the game.
Yeah.
I'd want to see what that is.
Yeah, that can cause big swings.
Because sometimes that can skew it.
Yeah.
Because I think United's chance and XG generation isn't that great when it's a toe-to-toe game or the game's level. I think it's as soon as the other team scored or gone a goal or two ahead and then they've sit back to defend the lead and then we've started to apply pressure then.
Yeah, and obviously that's something that plays a big part. But I don't think it shouldn't be. No one is sitting here saying that our strikers are good finishers or great finishers. I personally, I don't know if you think that, Ronnie, but Højlund isn't a great finisher, or is an all right finisher actually, but doesn't get many chances because of everything else about his game. Garnacho, the amount of one-on-ones we've seen him miss this season alone. He's not, a great finisher. Joshua Zirkzee, just his ball striking, you can see he doesn't have that crisp hit of a football that top strikers tend to have. You can't imagine him lacing one in the bottom corner from 15 yards out on the volley. He just doesn't have that kind of striking ability. So I think if you stick a few players in there who can score, you're going to score more. It is, there's endless detail and complexity that you can look into, but top players play well. And good strikers score goals. Some of it is a little bit more simple, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Hands up for the Panther says Garnacho is an issue now. He can go, but thus applies to all players. This applies to all players. Yeah. Fans ridicule and bully. No regard. It's evil. Footballers are humans. Mental health matters. Look with Rashford, the club ruined him. I completely agree, and I think when people sort of revel in abusing players and say that they can take it just because they earn a load of money. You can't insert that money into your brain and stop it hurting your feelings.
It needs to be a bit more compassionate.
Yeah, and hopefully, I like to think that we're not too cruel or too harsh in our assessment. We're certainly never abusive, and any time that happens on the channel, or it seems like it might, we try and stamp that out because I'm not a fan of that at all. But I do think that having an opinion and criticising players is part of football and sport. Sport without fans and commentators and all that wouldn't really exist in the form that it does. They certainly wouldn't be getting paid the money. It wouldn't be the global sport that it is. So you're entitled to your opinion, but abusing players, even in a kind of I think people all understand that racism or whatever is crossing the line. But I think there's a lot of things before you get to that line that for me are still too harsh. And I think a lot of times people don't see that. James Stewart says, "Hi Joe, fancy a jousting match inside what? Instead of watching this pathetic lot chasing the ball around for 90 minutes. PS, give Don my love. I will do. And let's have a little jousting match. Go on then. Yeah, Jav says, can we name a third league-winning manager that we've had?
Sorry?
Ernest Magnell. Did he win a league? Obviously, United.
What was the
Can
question?
you name 3 league-winning managers that United have had? Obviously, Sir Alex. Obviously, Matt Busby. Did Ernest Magnell win the league with Man United? Let's have a look. Honours. Yes, he did. 07, and I mean 1907, 08, 1910, 11. There you go. I've done it. You lads can.
That is the most blatant thing where you've messaged him privately.
Yeah,
I said.
Yeah, sorry.
I said,
cheers, Jav, mate. I'll text you now, Jav. Cheers for that one. You've teamed me up there to get a decent little.
Ask this question on live.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
And I'll read it out and then show everyone.
United are defined by 2 spells, 2 managers. We are. There's no denying that. Obviously, Ernest Magnell got a couple of titles. He got an FA Cup as well. But it is Busby and it is Ferguson. They are the 2 great pillars of Man United. I don't think anyone's denying that. Steve Doyle says, another 12 months means proper clear-out. We can accept. One other thing that is a positive if we're looking for him, fewer games next season means we don't need such a big squad size. So we can let 10 players leave and only bring 6 in. Plus a couple from the academy, plus the likes of maybe we'll get another Heaven-esque signing or another Cheeto-esque signing that can fill those gaps in. I think if we got rid of 10, brought in 5, and brought through 3 or 2, we could probably do next season with a 20-man squad. Yeah. If injuries stay lower, which they should do because we're playing less games or fewer games. Desarmo with the super chat, thank you very much. We're free of 2-ton Shaw and heavy Onana with the love heart eye emoji. Need Cunha and Mbeumo as they play left and right wing in a 4-3-3 if Amorim gets sacked. Need athletic, versatile players. Steve Doyle says still playing 3 at the back, 1-0 down in the Europa final. But again, look at that Europa final. We had a lot of people attacking. It wasn't just.
There are so many issues before the formation.
By the way, have we looked at their team or not?
No, not yet.
Oh,
I will do in just a second.
What time?
We've got 12 minutes till kick-off.
Joe there, isn't it?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks,
carried away.
Sorry, we'll get into Villa's team in a minute. I'm just going to get through these super chats. JBone McSwiggins again says, Zlatan said he'd kill for Mourinho. We have a mentality issue. Our players excel on loan, so we need players with character over ability to an extent.
And I think that's what Amorim seems to be pushing for.
Yeah, absolutely. Tommy McCartney, knowing how a team is going to play isn't inherently a negative. Everyone knows how City plays. That doesn't mean you'll know how to stop it or that you'll be able to stop it.
That's too simplistic a way of saying what I said. It's more about, it didn't say, no, they play. It's just more like
they know how to
knowing how to exploit a certain thing, and then basically us not having an answer for it.
Yeah. Mark F said, I just struggle to get behind 5 defenders and DMs. It's too negative. Defensive players will always play negative. Thanks for all the content this season.
My answer to that is we're assuming a lot about Amorim's intentions based on what he has available to him, but there's nothing clear that suggests that he wants to play with 5 out-and-out defenders. It's kind of what he's got to work with this season. A lot of the time at Sporting, his wing-backs play more like wingers. You know, and then you can have 6-7 players on the last line. The 2 wide centre-backs step up into midfield. It can be a very attack-minded formation with the right personnel, and I think that's a lot what it will come down to. Obviously, if we're having these conversations in a year's time, when he does have the players capable of doing those roles, then by all means, let's have these conversations about is that viable long term. But I don't really think you can make those assumptions about his intentions based on what he's working with right now.
Yeah, I agree. JRAWK85, and I don't know if this is a lie, says Ernest Magnell was my great uncle. No word of a lie. I hope that's true, and if it is, that's brilliant. Mark F says, oh no, I've read that one. Let's do Villa's team, and we'll come back to some of the super chats. We've got Aston Villa's team here. We've got Martinez, Maatsen, Torres, Konsa, Cash, Onana, Camara, McGinn, Asensio, Rogers, and Watkins. Strong side. Again, a side that is...
Strong bench.
Yeah, very strong bench. You've got Bailey, Digne, Marlon, Ramsey, Tielemans, Mings, Garcia, Barkley, Olsen.
They're a club in a good place, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And again, they're a club and a team where the floor is very high. I don't think, you're looking for those kind of top-end world-class players, and you kind of... want to go for Watkins, but not quite. Asensio's been passed around Europe a little bit, but they don't have many or any weak links at all. And again, that goes back to what we were saying before. It's just a fucking solid team, start to finish.
That's constant in a lot of these clubs that are consistent across a league season and you know, finish in the higher positions. The floor is lower, the ceiling's higher. Yeah, it's quite simple.
It's another side I look at and think, can we match him physically?
Yeah, probably not is my answer to
and that. I don't see it. Do you know what I mean? And I think obviously Ramsey usually plays for him, who's another kind of physical player, all action. It's difficult to place him as a position. Is he a winger? Is he like a midfielder? Is he an 8? Pretty much plays them all. But
those versatile players are dangerous because they're harder to deal with.
I'm a big fan of Ramsey from Villa actually, but I'm looking at it just Maatsen, and they've gone quite offensive there as well, innit? Because I think Digne is more. I know he's got good final ball delivery, but he's more like of a defensive fullback than Maatsen is. They've obviously rested Tielemans and they've gone a bit more powerful in midfield. They've got McGinn, Kamara, and Onana against Bruno and Casemiro. That could be a bit peak.
Like a bit of a mismatch.
And then you've got Morgan Rogers, who's just an absolute flat trap bully. He's just it's a bit of a monster in there, innit? So. Got a workout today, to say the least.
It's a very strong team. Yeah.
It's a good team.
What do you make of these rumours of Emiliano Martinez being linked to United?
I'm not a big fan, personally. I think he's a good player. Maybe he's got the mentality thing, but I don't see him as like a great ball playing goalkeeper.
Yeah,
like he's all right, and I think and also he's got a bit of the not the same as Onana, but sometimes you watch him, you think, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like he's a bit weird and reckless and odd at times. But I think he would be an improvement over Onana. I just don't think he would be my pick. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think I'm in a similar boat to you, but I think it does look like we are going to go for a keeper this summer. And I think there's going to be less onus on necessarily finding a really top-level ball-playing keeper. That was what Onana was almost advertised to be, and obviously we've never really taken advantage of that, if it's even true that he is kind of that top-level ball-playing keeper. But I think what could take us up a few levels, similar to the argument of, well, you put good finishers in front of goals and you score more goals, is you put a keeper between the sticks who can make a lot of saves, and you concede less goals. I think we kind of need to simplify our recruitment in that sense this summer. And so I think in terms of our recruitment for a keeper, if that does happen, we're probably going to be looking at someone who is primarily a good shot stopper.
Yeah, which is funny, isn't it?
Yeah,
because maybe we should have kept the hair. I don't think that's all. By the way,
thing is, there's always going to be that argument that, well, why did we get rid of De Gea? He was also a poor shot stopper.
Subpar shot stopper.
Statistically,
he was
massively underperformed in shot stopping as well.
Yeah, he did. Right, we've got 7 minutes till kick-off. Let's get some score predictions in. One last time this season. Although, I say one last time, United got 2 fucking games next week. Have you seen this? United are playing Wednesday and Friday next week.
At what time?
1 p.m. Good times.
I'm sure you're surely not doing a watch-along, are you?
Yeah, we're doing watch-alongs. We'll be here for everything. Of course, might as well do. Might be our first chance to see... I don't even know. We're not going to sound anyone about that.
I've been
it might be our last chance to see some players. Anyway,
been told a few academy players are going to be definitely on the plane.
There you go. Might be our first chance to see,
definitely a couple that
insert academy name.
Yeah, Mantato, Callison.
There you go.
Yeah.
When's the first game?
Well, I think it's Wednesday and Friday. The 2 games.
This Wednesday and Friday.
Yeah. Let me double check. I literally looked earlier today. Man United fixtures. Villa, brilliant. And then Wednesday the 28th at 1:45, and Friday the 30th at 1 p.m. We are shameless, aren't we? Unbelievable. Give me a score prediction, please.
I think 2-1 Villa. They're playing for something far more important. We've got nothing to play for. Their team looks a lot stronger on paper. I just don't see what we've got going for us that's going to get us a result in this game. So I think it's going to be a quite simple 2-1 victory for them.
What do you think, Ronnie?
3-1 Villa.
Yeah. Any expansion on that?
I just don't see us being able to cope with their team, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there's too much.
And also it's the fact that even if they were in the game 50, 60 minutes, they've got so much off the bench as well. And it's more about the intensity. United have, I guess, playing with a bit of freedom with nothing to play for, but you just got to think about where the team is psychologically, mentally, compared to a side that's basically got their bit between the teeth, thinking they have to win for Champions League football. So it's basically a final for them. So if you combine the fact of the quality of their side, how powerful they are, and the fact that they're in a must-win game, compared to where we are. It doesn't bode well. But I don't know, United are the type of team that can sometimes play better almost when the pressure's not on.
Yeah, sometimes better against the better teams.
Do we think this sort of emphasis on power, athleticism, physicality that seems to have really kind of ramped up in the last 3 or 4 years in the Premier League? Do we think that this is, because we've seen phases like this before? I remember when Jose came in, a lot of people spoke about the same thing, that team he had with, Ballack and Lampard and Drogba and Terry, and he had the, big players, athletic players, Ashley Cole fucking flying up and down all the time. They were just seen as this team of absolute monsters. And then we seem to go away from that a little bit. In
like Wenger's team. Wenger had a few...
Wenger had a few players, but also Wenger was known for more sort of precise athletic, technical football as well. Obviously, then he had Vieira and Petit and some big boys in there as well. Yeah, he was, but he was technical and skillful, and and then it felt like again early 2013s, 14s, with the advent of sort of
Spain's the Spain national side,
the Barcelona team, the Spanish team. There seemed to be more of an emphasis on technical small players again. Now it's gone back the other way. It's back to land of the giants. It's 6'2", 6'3", athletic, strong.
Jules. I read an article in the Athletic recently. I can't quote it exactly, but it did show statistically that the intensity and physicality of the league is increasing by a kind of proportional amount every season. Obviously, football, different phases in football come and go, but that definitely seems to be where the game is trending towards, in England at least. Yeah. And there's always a direct correlation between league positions and running statistics as well. It's stuff like that does kind of, those underlying numbers do make the difference. And I think it's just an inevitability now that you have to have a squad full of good athletes to be able to compete. Because
it seemed as though, didn't it, under Jose, we were building towards that. We had big players in there, obviously Paul Pogba, Matic, McTominay, Fellaini, Lukaku. It was a team full of big, heavy, and they weren't all 50-metre sprinters by any means, but you weren't losing at set pieces. They were physically able to push people around a little bit. And it worked to a certain extent, but obviously didn't get us far enough.
Your physical foundations are what platform what you do technically and tactically. I think it's all good and well having really technical players and having a manager that's really top level tactically. If you don't have that kind of physical foundation to build off.
And another thing I think as well potentially is, if I'm in the market, if I'm a scout and I'm looking around, let's say I look at France or I look at Germany, and I think, will that passing ability, will his speed on the ball, will his technical ability translate to the Premier League? I'm not sure. Will being 6'3" and being able to run a 4.5 second 40 yards, will that translate to the Premier League? Yes. There's no guessing with height, with size, with speed. There's a lot less guesswork involved. Whereas, would Xavi have worked in the Premier League? Probably, but maybe not. But Yaya Toure,
effective maybe.
He is, and he's got what he's got. Exactly. I think there's less guesswork involved in buying an athlete than there is in buying a technician.
And even the top level technicians, people like João Neves, are still really great athletes. João Neves is 5'6", 5'7", but he wins a weirdly high proportion of his aerial duels. So I think even if you are one of those players who are seen as kind of more technically inclined, you still got to be a great athlete in this game to be able to cope at the top level.
Matt G says JM's team or Jose Mourinho's teams were physical but not fit. Ole said that when he came in. We always seem to be a cycle behind the rest of the league. That's my worry as well. And you look at last few
another
years.
Thing that Amorim has spoken about publicly. These are some of the reasons that I'm still quite confident that for now it's kind of going to pay dividends to keep hold of him, just because he seems to get these issues and seems to understand how to address them, and I think we can have the conversations about his tactical ability kind of a little bit later down the line for me.
I agree. And someone whoever's here now needs to fix the dressing room and needs to fix the training ground, and they need to fix all those things. And that's, like we said before, the biggest job that he's got. And for me, I like his personality. I like his honesty. I like that he's brutal.
I like his jacket.
I like his jacket. And I think fundamentally that jacket is what's going to...
That's what's going to win you games, isn't it?
Yes. the games are kicking off. We do have a league table that's updating as well as goals go in. Basically, it's that fight for European football, isn't it?
Who's boshed the wind on me like that again, man?
There you go. You can see there. That's going to be the league table. Obviously, I'm guessing we'd all like Forest, Chelsea. Actually, what's the way this can happen? Villa, Chelsea and Newcastle have to win and City have to lose. It's not going to happen, is it? Realistically.
Who is City playing?
City have got, is it Fulham away?
I think it's not going to work because I think two of them teams are playing each other. Forest playing Chelsea.
Yeah, but Forest, if Chelsea, Newcastle and Villa catch City, City will go 6th. So that means Chelsea need to win. But I don't think that's going to happen. I would rather Forest got Champions League than Chelsea, because I don't think there's any chance City lose and all 3 of those teams win, if you get me.
Is the brightness a little bit low?
Yeah, it feels a bit.
Yeah, can we get the brightness up a bit, if possible? We turn it down sometimes because it reflects on here.
Yeah,
but
I've got a bit of glare, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, there is a bit. You see the glare at the top.
We'll get it up a bit.
What is causing that glare?
This is the lights.
Oh.
I'm glad to see Heaven back in the starting lineup.
Yeah, me too.
I'd say in the cameos he's had, that's much better.
It's been much better.
In the cameos he's had, he's been really impressive.
Yeah.
You know, he came into the side earlier than was expected by the club. He was described to me as a first-team signing, but I still think he came in and made an impact earlier than expected.
Yeah,
and I think he got that injury at a really kind of unfortunate time because he'd started to build some momentum in the side.
I thought it looked really good in those. Was it 3 starts? It's such a small sample size.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think
promising.
if he can demonstrate that he can maintain that level of performance, then I think you're looking at a player with real top end potential. So
yeah, definitely. Just get these going on here.
And obviously, a player that fits that kind of athleticism and physicality that we've just been talking about.
Yeah.
Do you think Chido will go on loan next season or not?
I think he'll probably stay with the team because I think there's still maybe some benefit to just being in first team training, getting the odd 21s appearance and then the odd cameo off the bench.
Yeah.
We've signed Kanabiak, the French striker, who I think is the one that's going to get loaned out while Chido's kept with the squad. It'll be interesting to see if he comes off the bench here, but he's obviously not got his first goal in the first team yet, but even just in his cameos off the bench, he looks like he's got something about him.
Yeah.
He's so young. He doesn't turn 18 till later in the year. So I think he'll be kept around the first team squad.
Good tackle.
Oh, what a tackle.
I think he can't.
I think you can't tackle from behind. It's just one of those.
And also, I
isn't
think
it?
he tripped him and then hooked the ball.
Yeah, okay.
If you look, he goes in, takes the ankle there, and then gets the ball there.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I feel like even when you wrap it perfectly and get the ball, they always give a foul.
It's going to be
from behind.
Kamara's a player that could be leaving Villa this summer. A midfielder with quite a nice
Make
profile.
maximum profit though, won't they? Fucking hell.
Yeah, they got him for free.
Yeah.
And Tielemans.
Yeah.
Insane.
Wouldn't hate United.
Well, Kamara, when he first got there, the first couple of seasons, he didn't really play that much.
He was injured.
No,
a lot.
yeah.
But
he came from France with a lot of promise. I remember when Camavinga was first breaking through, it was kind of him, Kamara and Camavinga were two of the biggest promises in those defensive midfield positions for France. And Chouameni as well.
Yeah, he played
there is
24 games in the first season, 20 last season. To be fair, he's only played 25 this season, so he still missed 12 league games, which is a good chunk.
He's struggled with injury.
Yeah, which might put people off him potentially.
He's got in the box.
Go on.
Done well there.
Back.
Go on.
To Mount.
Oh! Unlucky. That was good though.
That
That
opportunity.
it was. And good running from Mount as well. Good energy.
Mount.
Go on, square it. That's decent.
And again.
Oh,
my days. 2 really good opportunities.
Unlucky there. Well done from Mazraoui, Hoyland and Mount there. All did
that's
well.
good.
Good play there.
Mount's had a busy start though, isn't he?
He's looking up for it, which we obviously like.
I like that from Hoyland as well, cutting it back.
Yeah, it was good. Good play from everyone there. Good determination from
Good
Mazraoui
find.
as well.
Yeah.
Just needs to
He's
get a
found
bit
his
less
directed
on it,
that
doesn't
slightly more to the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
And we've had a weirdly good record against Villa last couple of seasons.
Oh yeah, we do all right.
But last
Yeah.
season we beat him home and away. And this season, what did we lose? Obviously we didn't beat him, but because we don't beat anyone. But I don't remember.
Did we? Was it? Oh wait, I think I can remember the one. Nah, Leon Bailey when he scored.
It was. Yeah. So we've drawn the last 2 against him, and then won the 4 before that. So the last 6 times we played him, it's 4 wins.
What I do
2
know
draws.
is United have historically had a very good record at Villa Park.
Yes.
Is that?
I think it's the ground where the away ground we've won the most points at in the Premier League era.
Yeah.
I believe. No early goals in any of the other games as of yet.
Fucking hell.
For everyone who's into it, fantasy football, how's it looking for everyone?
I
How's it been?
gave up a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I made a last minute wholesale change to my squad, but I hadn't looked at it for weeks before that. But yeah,
I'm currently top of my league, but I got 31 point advantage with a bench boost.
So you're on Thingy Watch
I'm just on
today. You're on FPL Watch.
Basically, all I need is just every game to end 0-0, and everything's fine. If Evan Nilsson has an absolute field day today, it's going to be really bad for me.
Who are you playing?
Got someone.
really
Come on, Bruno. Okay, good stuff though. This
Play
liquid
stuff for 6
really
minutes.
best we've played all season.
a really positive start to this one. I feel like we said that a lot this season as well.
We have
It's
a good
about-
5 minutes and then it all.
Yeah, got to sustain it.
It's good stuff. This though, it's
Yeah,
just you
yeah.
can't. I'm not gonna
Bruno took that onto his left
downplay
there.
it just because it's been a shit season. We're playing well here.
Yeah.
You could
it
say
would,
too
you know-
little, too late, but
Yeah, but even a win today, given Villa are still playing for Champions League football, it would just be a little lift, wouldn't it, to end the season on?
yeah,
Not that it makes up for anything, but
stops us being 17th at least, which would be nice. Everyone's still 0-0 as well. All the other games.
yeah, Villa haven't really had a touch of the ball yet.
No, it's been all.
They do play mid-block counter football though, don't they?
Exactly.
But they've not been able to stop us fucking
Do you know what?
getting
Sorry,
Go on.
we're actually quite good at that. The teams we really struggle against are high pressing teams. I worry
Villa
about our
aren't
ability
really.
to play out from the back. It's so bad.
Villa aren't really maybe from goal kicks they probably, but they're not like a man-to-man pressing side out of the, they're very much mid.
Yeah, that's why we struggle so
Mid-block.
much against like Brentford and Bournemouth and like even
The ones
Tottenham.
that just
The last 6 games, although the Europa final was a different setup entirely. It didn't play like a normal United Tottenham game.
Goal all
Nice
that
from heaven.
aggression.
Do well there, heaven.
He is aggressive. He steps up really well and seems to have pretty good anticipation
Yeah,
in duels like that.
you did the old Rio Ferdinand leg around the front of the striker there
Yeah.
as well, which is always good. Nice.
No
Nice
man,
man.
good shimmy.
And again,
Right,
And
where's
ball.
this been?
losing that Europa League finals has
And then we-
unlocked Mason Mount.
And then we win it back high.
Really good start.
We had a great 10 minutes.
Can't say anything more than that. United have been excellent. Probably shitting it because the manager's got to go on the mic later. And they don't want there to
Playing
be
for their
constant
lives.
booze. Casemiro!
Okay.
Gentle, really.
Hopeful effort.
Yeah. Decent start, though.
Couple shots on goal in the first 10 minutes. It's nice.
Yeah.
Very good start.
Can I just say on Dorgu, I've kind of been a bit shocked at some of the discourse on him this season, because I think he's obviously not set the world alight, but I think he's been solid. He's filled a gap on the left side defensively, and I think he's shown signs of having some real potential. I've been quite happy with him overall, and it seems like there's a lot of division around him at the moment, and a lot of people have almost kind of written him off already,
Yeah.
which is quite frustrating to me, because I really like a lot of what I've seen from him.
Yeah. Me and Ronnie tend to talk about him like most podcasts or most weeks. I think, generally speaking, well, go on, Ronnie, what do you think of him?
of
Dorgu.
I think he's great.
I think he's improved us massively.
I think he's added a 1v1 like defending, duel winning, physicality, bit of pace, bit of urgency. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think we've been sorely missing that.
Yeah. Especially when you compare it to like who would be playing there. I know you can stick Mazraoui there, or whatever, but realistically, that's Luke Shaw's position.
Yeah, I think
Luke Shaw can't do a lot of the stuff Dorgu does.
So
obviously, at his best, he's a more technical player, and
he's
I
a bit
would love
erratic.
to have had a non-leg broken leg Shaw.
Come on.
Luke Shaw, but Dorgu does so much good.
Look at this.
He's a bit erratic technically, but
Yeah, he is.
He's 20. He's just come from Italy. People aren't
Here he is
willing
now,
to.
First touch. Lovely, back
Good
to
set.
Mount. Hook.
Oh,
unlucky. We're absolutely all over Aston Villa at the minute. To say they're going for Champions League football, it's been a stark start from Manchester United. And
Really
Villa
positive.
Here. It's been brilliant.
Start to the game.
As good as we've started a game
Yes.
under Ruben Amorim, I would say. Ismail Assar with a huge goal for the Smith.
I think I've got
Absolutely
I think
huge.
I've still got Sar. Have I?
Maybe that.
Against who they playing?
Liverpool.
Oh yeah, on the beach them, aren't they?
Maybe
United
that
have
talk he's
generated-
given in training has done something.
Maybe.
Don't.
United have generated 0.7 XG already this game from 4 shots. There you go.
There's an XG counter. Sorry.
I like it.
An XG counter.
Now let's actually make something of it.
Yeah. Take the bloody X away. Am I right, guys? Let's get some bloody
Let's
G
get some
on the
G
board.
in this game.
I don't understand what's going on here. Why are Villa just not doing it?
Yeah, 'cause
Like, what's
it's
happening?
really- we
We've
look
got
great.
Champions League to play
We've
for.
got great, but it looks like we're playing like we're the ones that have got
Yeah.
like something to play for. Look at him, he just look. We'll look on the beach already.
Yeah, they do. This is
And then-
bizarre. And Mason
Very
Mount
flat.
is absolutely running them ragged at the minute. Oh,
my God.
Ahmad. Just wide there. Mason Mount is tearing Aston Villa apart right now. What the
He's
fuck?
so effective
He's-
from this
yeah.
position.
He actually he's running hard. He's working hard. Oh, that's unlucky
so
as well.
close.
There, Ahmad almost
Add it to
finding
the
that.
XG.
Adding to the XG, blimey, yeah.
That's gonna add a good amount to your
It
XG,
will.
mate.
Probably touching 1 at this point.
The thing is, this isn't far off from
Wait,
what
did
they're-
Hoyland block that? Did
No, that
Hoyland-
was
the
an
last,
earlier-
the last
no,
one.
did Hoyland block this?
I think he
know
tried to
it's
get a
not, I
touch
know
on it,
it's not.
didn't he?
Oh,
No, I think
well,
it's the defender,
foul.
actually.
Yeah.
I was like, did he block that?
Well done, Harold.
This won't be far off
Yes, man.
what
Yeah,
Villa's game plan would have been, but they're
Every
taking a lot
must
of
be
risk in being so
huge.
passive.
But they
because-
can't. But this can't have been the game plan because we've had 3 like half decent chances.
Obviously,
Yeah, it's
that's
not the
not
game
the
plan
game
to
plan.
concede. But
But I mean,
to be
they
need
so
to-
passive,
yeah.
it's
They
we
need
just
to
we
change
just play.
something.
We just start playing them.
Yeah. We look faster than them. We look more
just got
aggressive.
to be ready to defend
more
the
confident.
transitions because that's going to be what they're waiting for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, let us.
I'm
play,
just concerned
You know,
about a sucker punch.
Like
Yeah.
a good pass through
Like
the
the
lines
one
here.
coming now.
No, it didn't happen. I thought Onana might go straight to. Is it Tielemans 27?
Nah, Tielemans isn't playing.
Who is it who's 27 there? Maybe Rodgers.
Kamara. Oh yeah, Rogers is 27.
Yeah.
I know, 'cause
I think if Onana had gone for that pass through there, they might have had a bit of trouble. But see, good
that's
stuff.
not a foul.
Good
Yeah.
stuff. Pushing high, defending high. That's what the manager wants. Won the ball back again.
It's a good pass.
Why is it? Switch it. Yeah, well done. Good stuff. Isn't it weird that even though we're so bad, even though we've had one of the worst results in recent years on Wednesday, it's still putting a smile on my face watching us play well,
We're
even
so
though
back.
it's only 0-0.
We're so back.
We're so back. No, but it's like it still brings you a little bit of joy,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
it always will.
So mad.
It's more enjoyable watching football if your team's playing all right.
Yeah.
Funny that.
Yeah.
Come on, Evan. Got to get back now,
Here
though.
comes.
This is what it's, you know.
No. Oh my dogs.
I was concerned about the
That's
sucker punch.
and that's the worry. So Villa with their first bit of threat in this game.
Who's that? Fucking He's fucking massive,
Bruno
isn't he?
is so big,
It's like that was. I know it's Bruno next to him. He's not very big, but the ball went to an arm, and then he looked like he's fucking
well done,
twice as tall as everyone else. How tall is he? He's probably 6'4" at least.
I think he's 6'5".
Is it?
Yeah.
195. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
This might be. That's
I think
6'5",
Cheetah's about the same.
6'6". 6'5", yeah. Yeah, just a little bit on the ball last few minutes, Villa. In all the other games, by the way, I'm sure everyone's paying attention anyway, but it's 0-0 across the board except the Palace, Liverpool versus Palace game where it's 1-0 to Palace. Salah
Really?
with the goal. Yeah.
God, what an end to the season they've had.
I know. Shite. Almost don't count that league title now, in a way. Well done. Mason Mount just in his flow state at the minute, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long's he been fit for now, Mount? Feels like it's been definitely his longest stint back in the team, if I'm remembering correctly.
I think he came back in February, March.
Yeah, so he's...
Maybe February even.
Obviously, you've always got to treat it with caution, but it's really encouraging, isn't it?
Yeah, he came back, 14th of March, so looking at 2 and a bit months now.
Because if he is, fit for the majority of the season, he's at very least...
Sorry.
He's at the very least a great squad player,
Yeah, definitely.
if not more.
Yeah, I think he can be a lot more if he stays fit.
And,
Okay, no.
That's a great long ball. Having Mount, Cunha, Xerxes, Bruno, all capable of playing that left 10 position, I think is quite positive heading into the new season.
Yeah. It's a good touch.
Are we excited about Cunha?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Oh, Maz's Ami's gone.
Oh. Shite.
Fuck.
It looked like his hammy, yeah?
Yeah.
He's holding his hamstring straight away.
Good things.
Was
right
it
in the
fucking
season.
55 games he's played this season?
Yeah.
A little tweak there. Who's that going to come on then? Dallo probably?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
That's really disappointing for him.
Hopefully it's not.
Yeah, not...
Hopefully it's
a bad one.
It's
month
like just a
rather
tie,
than
like
3
just
months.
tie.
Better to
Yeah.
be safe than sorry,
Yeah, if he holds it
Don't-
straight away though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
She makes you think something's
Got the lawsuit.
gone.
I haven't seen much of Dallo recently, have we?
No. Looking at the top, no changes as it stands with all the other teams. Although Spurs have just scored.
Who set that table up there on the right?
Beautiful.
Fucking hell, great work.
Well done.
Brilliant.
Solanke with a penalty against Brighton. There you go. So
We actually
Tottenham,
let them
as
win
it
a
stands,
trophy.
will go above us and we will go down to 17th.
Wonderful.
It is truly wonderful, isn't it? Life.
Yeah.
Last few minutes, Villa just come back into it and they've not been able to keep up that first 10-minute spell. But they're a good team. They're going to have some of the ball. We just need to score next time we have a good spell.
Ooh.
Well done. Well run out there.
Yeah, my concern is obviously it's 15 minutes, you got a long way to go. You just knew Villa were eventually going to go into it and the game will become a bit more
That's
even,
why you
and
need to
then
take your
They have
chances
a
early.
little bit more top end quality, don't they?
I feel for Mazraoui there.
Yeah, great season for him. Great,
Yeah.
really good transfer. Well worth it. What was it? Fucking 16 million quid or something.
Yeah.
Fantastic transfer.
Good value there.
Yeah, really good.
I know a lot of the apprehension around his signing was his fitness, and
Yeah.
obviously up until today, I think he's been fit pretty much the whole time. So.
57 appearances.
Yeah.
Harvey's just told me. Which is almost every game this season. And I think with it 15 more than his most ever in a season as well.
It was a bit mental. They described it as heart surgery and then was back the same week.
Yeah, it was described as a procedure.
A procedure,
Which you think, what does that mean?
Yeah.
If any bit of sort of medical implement has touched your heart in the last week, you should not be playing a football match, surely.
I did think that as
Unless
well.
they've just I don't know, what could it even be? What could the procedure be that's so
Some
minor
sort of
that you
shock therapy, I don't know.
I don't even know, yeah.
Oh, they got 2v1.
Yeah,
Great
really
defending.
great
It was
work.
offside anyway,
Offside
but great
anyway.
defending.
Yeah, but
Poor
brilliant
touch that.
defending there.
Was it who was that?
Watkins.
The touch went across heaven. I don't know if he thought he could outpace him and he'd try and, sort of bait him into a red card there by touching it across him, or whether it was just a poor touch.
Doesn't look particularly off.
Heaven's Gates closed on him.
You know what I mean? He's gone across him.
Evans great in those positions. He's been in that situation a few times since making his debut, and he often seems to come out on top.
Brilliant. I'm not sure he was offside there.
No, I think it was just
It was an early one.
I think the pass helped Heaven a little bit as well.
Yeah,
but he defended really well.
Yeah.
And Bumo scored for Brentford. So it's 1-0 in that game against Wolves.
What's new?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know when he there was a guy that
City have scored as well. Who we got? Gundogan.
There's a guy that he always scores he's Mr. Clutch man, isn't he?
He's not done it as much.
He won't score apart from if the goal really, really, really matters.
Yeah, and then he's done it.
Yeah.
Is he on 20 for the season now, Boomer?
Don't know. It'll be 19 or 20, won't it? Yeah, it'll be 20.
You know what's mad? He missed the pen as well last game, so he could have been on 20 by now.
Yeah, he's on 20.
And how much is...
Someone said to me he's not quality, he's not thingy quality though.
What, United?
Yeah. I said, what does that... I don't know what that means anymore. What does that mean anymore?
I mean, that's...
You know the whole... He's not United quality.
I don't know what United quality is.
A little bit of aesthetics bias there, or what?
No, it's as in there's... People say it because you still think this thing of United are top 3-4 in Europe again. We get linked to players that are in lesser teams in the league, and then you get these people that are he's not Manchester United quality. I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah, but he's got a place in almost any squad in the league.
I think
United.
I think he's one of the best right wingers in the world.
Yeah.
I think he's on, and he's at that age, 25, 26, where I think he's one jump away from becoming elite.
If he had a head of hair, there'd be more clubs in for him.
I agree. I actually do.
If he had your hair, Joe,
yeah,
he'd be worth 120 million.
Yeah, I honestly do think things like that matter. I know it might sound genuinely stupid, and also if he was playing for France week in week out instead of Cameroon, or if he was playing for England, or if a country that is considered one of the top footballing nations, I do think these things all play into it. He's a phenomenal player.
Do we know the price quoted? Because it's
like 60 million.
It seems like an amazing opportunity. So
yeah, I don't understand what the reason for him not being valued very highly is. He's a fantastic player.
He was playing in the second French division only a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah.
Him and Wissa this season, proper Barclays men.
Yeah.
They're going to be Barclays remembered, but I don't know. This isn't really a Barclays error though, is it?
No.
But they'll still be remembered.
It's another. They're both players. You look at them and you think Tony's left. They're going to struggle, but they've just got a team where the floor is so high that.
And Thomas
they're
Frank's a
capable of
really
winning against anyone.
kind of reliable manager, isn't he?
40 points.
Hey.
Come on, we're safe. That's it. That's my football team right there. 40 points into 17th. The absolute fucking shambles. We've got some super chats. DRZ says, guys, any chance of a comparison between Amorim Sporting versus City and Amorim United versus City?
Back again.
Would like to see what's so different.
Sourcing today, innit?
What's so different between Amorim at Sporting or Sporting under Amorim compared to Man United under Amorim?
The players. It's a big difference. They had. It sounds crazy to say, but they had better players. Obviously, the league's a huge.
They had players that suited the system and the league better, didn't they?
They had better suited players, but they also just had better players.
Yeah.
Better athletes, better decision makers.
Goal scorer.
We'd kill for some of the players in that squad right now.
Yeah.
We wanted Kenda on the for right wing back. Gyökeres would still be a big upgrade on who we've got up front.
I'm surprised we didn't get Kenda. I'm surprised we didn't do more to get him.
Yeah.
But
even the club kind of thought it was done and dusted from what.
And then obviously, if anyone forgetting, Chelsea end up getting him. I think he's going back on loan there, isn't he, for a year?
That was the big difference. Apparently, United were consulted about. They were informed of Chelsea's interest and basically weren't willing to wait a year. If they were paying that much for him, they wanted him, now.
I think it's around 40 million euros, wasn't he? Chelsea paid.
I think more than that.
Was it?
Was closer to 65.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
Because I think United had originally been quoted a lot less.
Yeah. United just sort of
trying to regain,
pushing back in a little bit now. Yeah, we had a good 15 or good 12, 13. Then Villa came back in for 10 minutes. United. Dallows, poor touch there. Phil Harris says, "Shout out to my beautiful fiance, Crystal Lee." Shout out to Crystal Lee. Deadbug UK. The players post-game on Wednesday said it all for me. Every interview was a pity party. I'm so sorry. I wanted to see low-key anger, fight and character. Desarmo with a super chat. I'll tell you what YouTube need to sort out. The studio back-end, like when you're going through the super chats, is so laggy and shit. It's an absolute joke.
Write a letter.
Yeah, Google's literally like the 4th biggest company on the planet. And this is like, look, I'm trying to scroll up and down these super chats. It's just lagging, and then you accidentally touch it too far, it jumps all the way to the bottom. Just a shocking system. Right, I'm trying to get through these super chats. I apologise if I've missed any. Garbage. You know what? I'm going to try and open on a different browser. I mean, it's Chrome as well, which is another thing that Google own.
Ahmad's caught
get through.
banana here.
Good.
Didn't look like that much.
Oh, and look, and then just to top it all off, fucked
snap.
it. Oh, snap. I'm shit. Look at that.
YouTube, he doesn't mean it.
Nah, I love you.
We know we rely on you.
I need it. I do need it, but
Gonna get banned.
also, come on. Right, let me do this again. Here we go. Real XG moves in silence like lasagna. Very good. That's a throwback to an old Lil Wayne line that was quoted on a watch-along about a month ago. Real OGs move silent like lasagna.
I remember your playlist is full of Lil Wayne, isn't it?
No. Still know the line, though. Tommy McCartney says, knowing how a team... Oh, yeah, we read that one already. Here we go. Oh, it's smooth as you like now. Smooth as butter. Desarmo. Meret and Anguissa, both free agents and smart signings. Yeah,
United need to be smart about the free agent market and find some value this summer, because you can't sign 5 or 6 Cunhas in the position we're in.
No, that's true. Joshua Bowat says, cheers for all the content this year, chaps. Made this god-awful season slightly more bearable. Thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in, as always. Samir Varma says, hey, Joe, remember when you saw the Barry Keoghan United advert at the beginning of the season and was super excited? How long ago does that feel?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like this season.
Feels like a million years ago, doesn't it? If there is even such a time.
He's
that's what's mad. That's what's also mad, because Ten Hag was this season.
I know.
Here we go, good ball.
Unlucky. Good goal.
Keep that in. Maguire on the right wing.
Woo! Harry!
Footwork!
Oh, come on, Mount! Evan! How's that not gone in?
How have we not scored?
Oh, don't be injured, Evan.
Haradonna fucking tearing it up on the right hand side there. What was that?
How has that not gone in? It's like 4
Shows
or
the
5
quality of our
chances in
attackers
there.
when Harry Maguire is literally like a good attacker in this team.
Great ball in from Bruno.
Great cross. I think Casemiro's offside, wasn't he?
Cruyff turn from, was it? Yeah. Well,
Ish.
ish, yeah.
And then lovely
The
weight
lower
on
the
pass.
whippers. Oh, his cast on.
He's offside, but he's not actually involved, is he? Oh, he's fucking. I mean, he probably is somewhere. Just bobble, innit?
Aiden Heaven looks a little bit hurt. Hopefully not injured.
That's the last thing we need, him injured again. Because then you start hearing injury prone thrown around, don't you?
Even when it's an impact injury, people start saying that.
Yeah, like his one.
I've seen people calling him injury prone after one injury.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
When it was a mad injury as well.
Yeah, his
like he could have easily
crushed.
broken his leg. Yeah.
I was certain that he'd snap something.
Yeah, me too.
And then I got told just after the game that he's absolutely fine.
It was weird though, wasn't it? Because they said he was absolutely fine, and then he was back training like 2 weeks later, and then he was out for a month after that.
Maybe some little complications there, but just
not,
such a relief.
it looked
that
like it could have been a knee injury, broken leg, anything. It wasn't.
They weren't showing it on camera, were they?
No, too scared.
Panned away, yeah.
83% possession loss.
This is it. This is Amram. This is Amram ball, innit? I'd love to just win this game like 3-0 or something.
Imagine.
Again, though, what have we done? We've played well. We've made chances. We've missed them.
Yeah.
That's what happens. So odds are we probably won't win this game now because you can't afford to miss that many chances in the Premier League game.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that we've played badly or that the tactics were terrible. That's shit, though. So's that. Fucking hell. Who was that? One of the worst passes I've ever seen.
They don't want Champions League football, do they?
No.
They are. Do you know what it is?
Go on.
Unai Emery wants to win another Europa League.
Oh, that's it. I saw as well, someone made a good point. It's mad, not just from a difficulty perspective, but from a sort of logistics perspective, that Sevilla won 3 Europa Leagues in a row.
Yeah.
When that means that for the second 2, they had to purposely finish 3rd in their Champions League group to go down into it. That's absolutely crazy that they managed that. They must be winning it, put them in the Champions League.
A lot more like fluidity and rotation off the ball.
Yeah.
Ahmad dropping deep there to receive in the midfield from Maguire. The build-up looks better.
Yeah,
and again, it might just be a symptom of Villa having a very passive approach at the moment, but
it's good to see, though.
Yeah, some real football being played.
We've had so few fucking glimmers of hope this season. I'm going to take one if I can.
You're not going to turn your nose up at that.
Yeah, exactly. United look good. Comfortably the better side so far in this game.
Absolutely.
And chances to show for it as well.
Ball from Casemiro.
Jesus.
There we go.
Go on, Ahmad.
Cut in.
Oh, Delo!
Oh my God. Just behind him, innit?
Just needed to be a little bit further forward.
Well, that pass
just the final bit, innit? It's just the final bit.
There. If that pass is better, even Højlund
puts
is
that
putting
away.
that in.
Yeah.
I'm putting that in. It's a great pass, this, by the way.
Great run. Matty Cash keeps him on. Matty Cash. What's Matty Cash?
Just needs a bit of
it's just not gonna.
Was he trying to pull it back to Mount there?
No, I think he's trying to do exactly what we think he's trying to do.
Yeah.
Trying to put it on Højlund's toe and he puts it behind him.
Do we have an XG count?
Yeah, Harvey's on it. Just giving him a job there. Well, he's got his 1.02. 1.02, sorry, so 1. United should have. I mean, we can all see we should have scored.
Villa 0.
Is it Villa
0.00?
No shots.
Beautiful.
Lovely little clipper to the back.
Oh yeah, they haven't had a shot yet.
Come on.
Go on.
Oh, what are we doing?
Not so kablotso so far, this, as they say, as the kids say, do they?
They do say that, yeah.
Oh, they do? Yeah, cheers.
Yeah.
Thanks, Finn. Yeah,
Nice
offside again, Casemiro, as he's been for pretty much every cross that's come in. Although he didn't get on that initial cross, so maybe it's all right. Does anyone have any preference about who finishes top 4? If we rule out the fact that City, they're going to be there.
City are going to be in top 4.
Yeah, they have to lose to Fulham and everything else has to go wrong.
Doesn't look like it'll happen now, but I would have loved Forest to get top 4, given who else is there.
Yeah,
Villa I'm not too fussed about.
Yeah. In order of liking them to disliking them.
You don't want Chelsea in the top 4.
Exactly, yeah. Chelsea is the one that I would rather not. But then again, if they're not in Champions League...
Do they have a better season in the league?
Better season?
Yeah.
But they're annoying because they can win the Champions League without being any good, can't they?
Yeah.
As they've done twice in the last 15 years. This is just good stuff from United.
Good football.
Really good football.
Look at
Playing through the lines, good runs off the ball, options.
Bad pass.
Winning all the loose balls as well.
Unlucky. Good stuff.
Great football, man.
It is. See, bit of confidence in this team. If only we could play the Europa League final.
Was that
again.
deflected?
Yeah, it does. Just a little lob off.
Look at that. 5 attempts on target. Just got to get something from it.
Yeah.
Especially,
You're just worried about I'm just really scared of a sucker punch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're capable of it and we're more than capable of letting it happen.
Conceding it, yeah.
Because I think Emery's going to roll at clears at half time.
Yeah, me too.
A goal
And
before
as he
half-time
should
would
do
be
as well,
great, yeah.
because they're literally playing their way out of Champions League football for no real reason. They've just been...
There's been no urgency whatsoever.
They've not had any urgency in the way
no,
they've played.
They've been shocking.
Yeah.
That's not a foul either.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got lucky there.
He kind of did look like he just fell.
Yeah, he did.
Is it no Tielemans who's like literally
He's on the bench. I don't know what, he's there if they want him.
He's literally, he's their tempo setter
I think
in possession.
it might be useful for Kobe Mainu to look at Tielemans and his kind of resurgence this season at Aston Villa, because he's another midfielder who is technically gifted, but definitely struggles on the athleticism side.
Yeah.
He's a good example that it can still work at the top level for midfielders like that, but there needs to be a few conditions to allow it to happen and be successful.
He had a lot of space there, Cash. I don't know why we...
You did have a lot of
It was
space.
just Højlund, but no defenders anywhere near. He's loving it, that guy in the background.
He's fucking loving it, innit?
I do think
Bayern Day clean sheet ain't coming, hopefully.
I do think Amadou Onana has not been quite as good as I thought he might be this season.
I think he's a good player.
Yeah.
I do think he is quite limited technically, personally. From what I've seen, which is somewhat limited. It depends if the game suits him, and if it becomes about playing to his strengths. He's like must be an absolute nightmare to play against.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But at times I think his on the ball stuff is a little bit behind the top level. Personally. A lot of shots of Emery at the minute. Understandable, innit? He's probably... See the table there, look, Villa with a goal would go fourth.
They've not played. They've literally played like they've got 0 to play for.
Yeah, it's weird.
And we've
isn't it?
played with all the urgency, all the
Go on,
energy.
Rasmus, go on. Oh, nice. I like a little bit of technique like that. Ahmad's coming really narrow, isn't he?
Yeah.
Very much a sort of number 10 compared to against Tottenham, where he was really a winger, wasn't he? Going one-on-one all the time with Udogie. He's like looking like basically in the centre of the pitch at the minute. I know the ball's on that side, but even when it's on his side.
Played out
Now
well.
we've got a chance here.
Really well won back by
defended
Ahmad.
Lindelof almost messed it up, but yeah, brilliant from Ahmad. Do you think if Amorim has gone in there and absolutely destroyed certain players, Garnacho, potentially Onana, for looking at the gaps in the squad, do you think that does put a rocket up people's arse, or do you think that
100%?
I think
do you
if you can effectively communicate the fact that no one is immune to being dropped and being kind of phased out of this squad, then you're forced to perform and you're forced to step up. So I don't necessarily think he's made an example out of Garnacho for nothing, but I think seeing a player like Garnacho be told you're done at this club, that sends quite a striking message to the rest of the squad. That's like, no one's immune.
Yeah, and I suppose there's also a chance that some of the players will be thinking, I don't know. I don't want to paint narratives about what other players think of Garnacho.
What is that?
But you don't know whether they agree with it or disagree with it or what, do you?
Yeah.
But does it worry you, Ronnie, that he's come in, he's seemingly fallen out with, not fallen out with, but Rashford's done, Garnacho's done, Onana's maybe done, Luke Shaw's maybe done.
Yeah.
And it all seems to be coming from the manager as much as it does the club above him. Do you worry that he's a little bit of an abrasive figure that might be too...
No, because I think we
aggressive?
do need that harshness, and we do need that still. Because there has been a complaint that the culture has been too player-led at Manchester United anyway, so that part of it is great, because there's a lot of things intangibly about him to like, in terms of his honesty, his candidness, and how he's not afraid of making big decisions.
Ben.
Oh, fuck's sake.
McGinney, edge of the box. Great block there
well
from
back there.
Ahmad, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's been amazing.
He's good, yeah.
Well done, Dallo.
Ahmad's such a...
I think he went to win the ball because he's the one that gave the ball away.
Yeah.
So he gave
Yeah,
it. He
true,
gave
true.
it. He gave it away initially, and then he obviously worked back for it.
I think he's just an absolute dream for Amorim.
Yeah.
A player like Ahmad.
Yeah. A lot of the technical ability that you want and the work rate and personality-wise, he seems so driven and so
He's
kind of
definitely got some character off the pitch, but nothing.
Yeah. But doesn't seem you would
nothing
never think of him as a
problematic.
problem whatsoever, would you? Know, he just seems to be absolutely up for it.
Just needs a bit of media training.
It's a good
maybe.
cross that.
Here we go.
Go on. Hold on.
Nice.
Great play.
You win that.
A little bit sloppy now.
Is that Dorgu?
Dorgu. Dorgu's been everywhere because he's gone centrally a lot as well.
Yeah.
He's got.
And I like that he's
got an
comfortable
edge,
drifting
hasn't
in there. He's really effective from a lot of areas of the pitch.
Yeah. His
That ball, was it the second leg against Bilbao, where he drifted into the middle and played a perfect ball through to, was it Garnacho?
Yeah.
I think he's got
Yeah,
that
on the
quality.
volley?
No.
Oh,
He
against Bilbao,
played him in
Tottenham.
behind.
Yeah.
He's really got that quality in his locker, and I think as he kind of polishes out some of the rough areas, I think he could become a really, top player.
Villa fans there. Checking the
Yeah.
scores.
Yeah. They're nervous in it, but I don't know. The teams have not.
Well, maybe that's what it is. Maybe the team's nervous
Yeah.
because there's something not right.
Something's
They've
definitely
been
off about
absolutely
this.
flat as you like, haven't they, Villa?
They still not had a shot on goal.
No, that was one then, wasn't it? But it got blocked immediately by Ahmad. I don't know if that will count as a shot off target, but certainly not had anything for Bayern to worry about.
But there's been like zero intensity at all
Yeah.
from Villa.
No. Very weird. Low scoring across the whole Premier League today, so there's a few 1-0s. Brentford 1-0 up against Wolves.
Probably everyone's
Tottenham
a little
1-0
bit
up
nervous
against
to get a
Brighton.
result, aren't
Palace
they?
1-0 up against Liverpool, and City 1-0 up against Fulham. Everything else is 0-0. Yeah, everyone nervous. I thought I'd gone behind him there. Did well.
Yeah, Dorgu's inverted a few times this game, which I haven't seen a lot from him.
Offside there, Mount, I think. Oh,
It's
Arsenal
interesting,
have
that.
scored against Southampton.
Who?
Kieran Tierney with the goal. 1-0 up.
He still exists.
Yeah, bloody hell, why is he playing?
Where's he been on loan? Was he in the Netherlands or?
I don't actually know, I can't remember. I'll have a look.
Well done, Heaven.
He's leaving at the end of the season, though, isn't he? I'm surprised he's
surely.
playing. He's only played 13 games from the season. Why is he playing? Saliba. They've got a few injuries, haven't they? Saliba, Gabriel, Tomiyasu, I think, is injured as well.
Isn't Saliba back?
No,
No.
don't believe so. It was Real Sociedad he was at on loan.
Yeah. Oh,
Let's
that's
see.
a lovely touch. Is that Morgan Rogers? Well defended by Maguire.
Yep. People are saying in the comments. Discombobulate says, if you turn the league table upside down, we're in the Lampions Cheek places.
Hey, I love the way he changed he flipped the word around as well.
The spoonerism at the end as well.
Yeah.
That's very good. Mario Da Silva. Actually, let me wait for this corner to come in first for Aston Villa. In swinger. Just imagine a little glance, can't you?
Nah, I feel like I've got enough from them.
Oh, punched out by Bayindir.
Double punched away by Bayindir. Mario Da Silva says, the problem with this team is we can start well, make one defensive mistake and then capitulate. Seems like we can't have sustained good play. No, that's true. But at least we can have some good play.
I think a lot of that, again, is down to the fitness and physicality of the squad and the culture of the squad.
Ivan Hurtado says, if Bruno was sold this summer, who would be captain?
That's a good question.
We might go ceremonial.
Dalot.
It might be Dalot. We might go ceremonial
What?
and
You
go
said it, not me.
Casemiro. We could go...
Yeah, as a kind of stopgap captain, because there's no... I'd actually be inclined to say Kobe Mainoo if he was playing regularly. It'd be very
Or
early. But
Martinez, if he had.
Yeah, if he hadn't been injured so
But
much.
there's no very obvious answer.
No. I think
Maguire would be there, but you can't go back to.
No,
you
the
can't
only
go back to him.
the only realistic answers are Dalot, Maguire, Casemiro, and Shaw. But again, no. Obviously, like who could it be theoretically? It could be Shaw. He's been here 10 years. Like he should be on that list. But of those, I think it would have to be Casemiro.
Yeah.
If we did sell him, unless you want to give it De Ligt or something. But again, it's probably too soon for that.
Yeah.
I don't know who it would be. That's people saying De Ligt.
That's light.
Yeah, maybe De Ligt, but
Thing is, if De Ligt isn't a guaranteed starter, then it's hard to.
Yeah,
I mean, same for Casemiro or anyone, but
De Ligt's been a captain before as well.
yeah, I think
captain
it would
at
probably
17,
be.
wasn't
Yeah, probably be between Casemiro and De Ligt, I would say.
he? But that's kind of why I say if Kobbie Mainoo was playing regularly, I wouldn't mind him being the captain because just give it to an academy player who's been at the club since 7, 8. I think Lenny Yoro could be captain material long term, but obviously would be quite early.
Unlucky. I think as well with De Ligt, you can imagine him in.
Go on, Højlund.
Højlund's got
Come on
with the keeper here. That's a red card.
That's a red card.
That's a red card, surely.
Yeah.
It's got to be. Martinez, got to go. You've got to go.
That's a clear
Don't
one.
fuck it, ref.
Yes.
Yes.
It's red.
Brilliant.
Red card.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's got to be.
There's no argument there.
He's just wiped him out.
The guy in second on my fantasy's got Martinez, and I can fuck off and all. Martinez sent off. Look at this. The league table's killing Ronaldo. Running dog. What's happened? Ben, please!
He flicked it around. What's happened?
It's killing me! Guys, stick it right. Right. This is annoying, isn't it? Because it's a red card.
But it's not even a pen.
No. Oh, it's a heavy collision as well.
He did look hurt when he came down there.
Oh, thank God it's fixed. Look at him. He doesn't even look at the ball, Martinez.
What was he thinking?
Yeah, clear red card.
That's exactly what you said before when I asked about him. He's got that kind of silly.
Yeah, he's weird. He's a silly boy, isn't he, Martinez?
He's a silly boy.
It does worry me.
Matty Cash.
Matty Cash.
He just he gave up on the ball and just ran into him.
I don't. He should just stay on the edge of his box, wait for Højlund to arrive,
Inevitably,
and probably save the ball.
Yeah. Or just allow Højlund to probably.
Yeah,
miss.
just misreads it. Did you see? I think Martinez then went like he was pretending he was diving.
Why do I get the vibe that Villa are going to end up playing better with 10 men?
Yeah. Well, I'd say the fact that they're already playing in a low block and we're playing well means that hopefully that won't be the case.
He's nowhere near either Martinez, is he? He's not even close to getting there.
No, there's absolutely no.
Look, when Højlund takes the touch, he's 4 or 5 yards away. The only thing that you might say is does Højlund take the ball away from goal? But from that scenario, it doesn't matter. It's a red card, clearly red card. To be fair,
it's a boost going into the second half.
Just the tackle itself isn't far off a red, let alone the goal scoring.
I think it's reckless anyway.
Yeah.
He really clattered into it.
It's at least a yellow
and
just for the contact.
The way he diverted his run, I think it would be a straight red anyway.
Yeah.
Wonder who's coming off, do you reckon? Fucking hell, could be any of them. They've been
they've
some
done
performances.
nothing.
I reckon it's going to be Asensio.
But they need to win, so they can't go too mad.
I bet it's going to be Asensio.
Yeah,
they're going to be worried now.
Asensio, yeah. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Kamara. Try and keep some attacking players on there. I don't know.
It's not going to be Kamara.
I agree, but I'm trying to think. They need
it's
to win this
it's
game.
It's always a forward player, not like one of your DMs. It's like it's going to be a.
No, I know, but in the situation they're in,
it'll be Asensio. Watch.
I think it probably will be. They're not going to take Watkins off, are they? They're not going to take Rodgers off, I don't think, because Rodgers is too good in transition, so they'll want him. Yeah, there you go. Here's Asensio.
Do we know who played the pass to
Matty Cash? It was a back pass.
Matty Cash.
Yeah. Shambles.
What a mess for them.
Yeah.
And Martinez's biggest mistake is thinking for sure that Højlund would have scored if he went round him.
Yeah.
That's the term clear goal scoring opportunity has got a different definition to Man United fans than it does pretty much any other fan in the Premier League, hasn't it? I do think he would have scored there though.
We know he's not actually an awful finisher.
No, he's not an awful finisher. Ahmad got booked for something there. What was that for?
I think it's just for asking for a red. Apparently you're not allowed to ask for cards.
Why did he do that?
You like rule, you're not allowed to ask for cards.
Oh. How has he convinced people to let him do that?
Leave him alone, man.
How has he convinced people to let him do that? We've just done an absolute gorgeous little free kick routine on the edge of the box that culminated in Dallo having a shot from 24 yards out.
He's skied.
Right, we'll do this little routine and then who's going to shoot at the end? Bruno probably, yeah?
Yeah, Dallo.
No, me, actually. Yeah. Me, Dallo. I'll be shooting at the end of this. Right. Remember that goal I scored against Forest? Barely. Well, I'll do it again. Anyway, 0-0. Does Højlund absorb the soul of Martinez for the rest of the game?
Yeah, possibly.
Does it work like that?
I think that is how that works.
He's captured one soul there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So he's got
a bit of Argentinian spirit in it.
I like that.
Okay, now he's kept that in.
Casemiro is back.
Look at him, the flexibility.
Casemiro's in the third row.
Look at that from Mount. Hold up.
Mount's been very good today, you know. And it's going to be another one of those games where people are like, oh, Mason Mount again, no goals, no assists. Mason Mount might have been our best player today.
I think everyone's been pretty solid as well.
Yeah. And that's just...
Wait, you know where is he blew it there?
What for what?
Oh, he's
half-time.
Half-time.
There you go. Half-time, Manchester United 0, Aston Villa 0, down to 10 men for Aston Villa. After what we're going to say, brain fart, idiotic, misjudged by Martinez after a shocking back pass from Matty Cash.
A weird kind of reckless decision.
Yeah, it was very reckless. But I'm going to go out and say it, one of the best halves of football United have played
all season.
Ruben Amorim.
Yeah,
considering the opposition as well.
I 100% agree.
What did you make of the first half?
I think we've been miles better than, played more intensity. We've been better on the ball. We had more urgency about our players as well, and we're finding a lot of gaps in the way they're playing. I think it's been miles better.
Yeah,
I think that's definitely one of the best halves of football I've seen. Not even just on Ramin, but this season from us, to be honest with you.
Yeah, just go through some of the numbers then. 66% possession to United.
Can't score, can we?
No, exactly. 66% possession. Bit late. 9 shots to Aston Villa's 1. 5 on target to United. No shots on target for Aston Villa whatsoever. 1 big chance as well. United have had more than double the amount of passes that Villa have. It's just been an excellent first half for Man United. Obviously, the annoying thing is the scoreline at the top, but I think we're almost beyond results defining where we're at as a club, aren't we?
It was always more
absolutely shocking.
It was always more about performance today, but it's just obviously the only thing that you can say is the same issues as always is can't put the ball in the net.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only problem that we're having. But in terms of performance perspective, you can't complain about anything. I think Mason Mount and Dorgu down the left side have been brilliant. I think Aidan Heaven and Maguire have kept Watkins quiet. I think Watkins has been awful. And we're unlucky not to be ahead, but I think I've seen a lot of positives. And I just feel like we've been by miles the better team, and it's a miracle we're not up. I didn't expect us to do what we've done, but I know people are going to complain saying United are waiting until the pressure's off, nothing to play for, and then the players all of a sudden playing free. Yeah, but I think it's been a good performance. Yeah, definitely. Few comments about Garnacho and Onana and certain players being left out of the squad. About has that sort of let the team kind of flourish a little bit? Are they either A, worried for their place, or B, they agree with the manager's decision? That's just people reading context into the evidence that we have. But United have definitely been better. It's a 0-0, so we're not going to get carried away by any means, and we're still 17th in the Premier League. But if we're analysing this one game, then it's been much, much better for Man United. Steve Dawes says, goes to show more about mentality than squad. Again, though, the mentality and the squad aren't, they're linked together, aren't they? The mentality of the squad is, they're two, or sort of one and the same almost. FPL Mickle says, players trying to prove their worth by finally turning up now. We'll be able to challenge for top 6 next year, do you reckon? I don't know. I think that top 6 thing is pushing it a little bit. Depends who we get in the summer. But I think if any of these players think that a decent performance in today's game is going to save them, then it's definitely too little too late. As Finn arrives back in the studio, me and Ronnie just, to be honest,
full of praise for that first half. What did you think?
Yeah, I think, if we go on to win this, then there'll be conversations about, the red card making the difference. But I think we've been by far the better team today.
Yeah. They've had no shots on target, and that red card was in the last minute of the half. Yeah. So, we've been by far the better team.
I expected the complete opposite, but in terms of urgency and desire to win the game, United look just, worlds apart from Villa at the moment. They seem flat, they seem nervy, cagey, and just they don't look like a team that are desperate to win this game. So yeah, that's been quite a surprise. But obviously you take it as United fans. One big difference that I've noticed that we haven't seen in many performances under Amorim is I've liked the look of our kind of positional rotation off the ball. Different players are dropping into positions that they wouldn't usually. I saw Dorgu coming into the midfield a lot to receive the ball. Same for Ahmad, which I think a lot of the time under Amorim, the wing-backs, really, really hug the touchline. They seem to stay very wide. And it's made for some better passing options in the build-up. So that's another little tactical tweak that's seemed to be really positive and make for a lot more fluid build-up today. I think Mason Mount has been really fantastic, probably United's best player that half. Just really, really positive overall. But now it's so important that we can sustain that pressure and actually finish one of these chances.
Yeah, exactly. We've got a super chat here from Rune who says, good performances, but crosses mean shit as it's Højlund versus 3. Crosses got to be in the 99th percentile for a goal. They aren't. Gyökeres wouldn't score 1 versus 3 either. I think something that people have highlighted is United's box occupation hasn't been great. Mm-hmm. Where I think if you get more bodies in the box, then obviously you'll have more opportunities or more people to find. It's just about United getting in those situations enough and having players that have those instincts to do that. Yeah. But as we've said, the elephant in the room is we are struggling to score goals. Mm-hmm. We've outplayed Villa. We've created opportunities. We've played some great football. Yeah. And it's just that finishing touch right at the end has been what's been eluding us, and that's why so many have rightfully said United need that top end quality and that's one of the major areas of need, and I think the hierarchy at United do believe that as well. I think going out for Acuna, looking for a striker, looking out for a forward. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they seem to have recognised that issue and are eager to address it. We've got the Cunha deal pretty much done according to the reports, which is really positive, and it's exactly what United need, someone that's going to put the ball in the back of the net. I'd like to imagine that in a game like this, if some of these chances do fall to Acuna, who is consistently outperforming his expected goals, then maybe you get 1 or 2 out of that half that we don't have at the moment going into the second half. So.
And it only needs to be like, if you have a Delap in there and you have Acuna in there, or even just someone as good as Delap. I think there are many strikers in the world as good as Liam Delap, not for the price, but I don't think it's that hard to find someone. Let's say we don't get Delap, I'm saying, it only has to be like 12 extra goals across the season. If they're well placed or well, and that then leads to teams losing a bit of confidence who you're playing against, which then means that Mount can get a goal or Bruno can get It's never as big as you think. It's never that, you don't need them to come in and score 25 goals each for United to score 50 more goals in the league or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And
you can look at a player's floor in terms of goal scoring, and I think you look at Acuna, and if he's fit throughout a season, he's just not going to score less than 9 or 10 goals. Yeah. I think Delap, you're going to get about 10 goals from him, at his just base rate. Same for like an Mbumo. I think we do overcomplicate these conversations sometimes, but a lot of the time you just got to look at the quality of the players, and sometimes better players are going to win you games.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the league table then as it stands, if we can bring that up, Harry. As it stands then...
Don't decapitate Joe though.
Yeah, try not to decapitate me this time. So Liverpool obviously won the league. Then it's that race for Champions League football. Arsenal were safe anyway. That's guaranteed for them. City were almost safe. They had to lose, and I think Newcastle, Chelsea, and Villa all had to win, which was, a circumstance that's never going to happen. Guaranteed pretty much now by that goal as well, where they are winning. Yep. And then it's those 4 teams there, all of which are locked in stalemates. You've got Villa against us, who. they could still win now, but they've hurt their chances massively. You've got Newcastle 0-0 at the moment up against
Chelsea. So they're playing each other. Oh wait, no, Chelsea versus
Newcastle.
Forest.
Yeah. Newcastle have got Everton.
Okay,
That's 0-0, and then Chelsea Forest is 0-0 as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's basically stayed as it was this morning, with Villa taking probably half a step back with that red card. In terms of the bottom stuff, United currently 17th, which is just horrendous, isn't it? Because Tottenham are 1-0 up. But personally, I don't really care. I care that we're 17th. I don't care if we're 17th or 16th. It's not going to change how I feel about this season whatsoever.
I think outside of the top 8 doesn't really make any difference. It's horrendous for a United side to be finishing outside of the top half of the table. So then when you're past that, it's just it becomes less meaningful just how far down the table you are. So yeah, I think today I'm trying to be optimistic and focus on the positives of that performance, and thinking about what we can take into next season. And I think there's a lot of positives today that you can take into next season. So
yeah. We just need to forget about this season somehow. I don't know if that's even possible. I don't know if doing some things in the window that are exciting and a little bit shocking maybe in terms of who we get rid of. I think that's one way to do it. But
Amram said that he's happy that he's come in 6 months earlier than he maybe would have in more kind of conventional, in more of a typical situation, because he's had time to understand what the squad needs and what the issues are. And I think given that, he might be much better equipped to take a bit of a bigger jump for next season.
Yeah.
So if he is able to, along with the squad, kind of put this season behind him and then I think there's a lot of progress that could be made quite quickly. But a lot of conditions have to be met for that to be the case. But I'd always like to stay optimistic that can happen.
Yeah, exactly. If we do get a goal, we'll be up to 15th today, by the way, which is quite nice. And if West Ham concede one and we get one, we could be up to 14th.
Blimey.
Which is basically top half, which is basically
pretty
European
much call
football.
That a successful season, wouldn't you?
I absolutely would, yeah. Rune says, good performance, but crosses mean shit, as it's Hoyland versus 3. Crosses have got to be 99th percentile for it to be a goal.
Ronnie's read that one.
Oh, has he? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I like to read them as well. But I'll read it in my head. Nice. Avinav Verma says, how much would McTominay cost as a backup centre forward signing? Probably getting for 50 million, I'd have thought. 40, 50 million. I think we should do it.
Yeah.
I think that'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
Good thing is, because the sale was 30 million profit.
So we'd only be losing 20 million.
Yeah, and we can buy him back over 5 years.
And then we could sell him for 30 million.
And that would be pure profit.
No, it wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't actually. It'd be loss again. Oh, ran out of good ideas.
I thought we were onto something.
I really did think we were on something for a second there.
About to get into the phone to Barada.
Chelsea Forest. Does anyone know anything about how that game's gone?
Any details?
It looks as though it's very bloody hell. There's only been 4 shots in the whole game. Chelsea have had slightly more possession, but by the looks of it, that's been an absolute cage match there. But yeah, I don't know. It's all pretty much locked as it is. Do you want to see any changes for the second half? Would you like to see any substitutions, any movement off the bench?
Not necessarily at half time, but again, I'd like to see Chido given a fair few minutes to continue getting that experience playing for the first team. And I think today against 10 men is another great opportunity for him to get that first goal in a United shirt, as a first team player, which I think would be great for his confidence and great for United's confidence. Great to know that we have a backup striker who is capable of scoring goals at this level, because that almost changes some of your recruitment plans for the summer. If you've got a backup player who can score goals, then you don't necessarily need to go out and get 2 strikers. So I'd like to see Chido get a chance, but no, I'm very happy with how we've played, and I wouldn't make any changes at half time.
No. Would you make any changes, Ronnie?
No, I think so. What's the tendency is when teams go down to 10 minutes to just throw more attackers on the pitch, and sometimes it can upset the balance of the team and what's actually been working for you. I think United just need to keep playing the way they are, and the goal should come hopefully. And then if you do need to then add a couple more attackers, then do it. But I'm just biased anyway, so I'm just gonna be like, if I would like to see a change, I'd like to see Kobe Mainoo come on.
I think the longer we get into this game, the more they're going to be
Much happier
desperate
when
to
United
get.
play well.
They have to get a goal at some point. If they want any chance of getting top 4, they have to try and score. And if they're going all out attack with 10 players, then there are going to be lots of chances for United to hurt them on the break.
Yeah.
So I think this situation favours us a lot, but obviously anything can happen in the second half.
I would absolutely stick with it as it is.
Yeah,
I think
like Ronnie
have
says,
been
that's the best thing, not to offset the balance and just to keep going with what's been working to an extent. In the
They've literally had one shot in 45 minutes, and it was blocked
a hopeful
instantly by Ahmad. It didn't even get into the 18-yard box. I don't think. Like, if you're not happy with, carry on as you are with that, then I think we would be a lot higher up the league table if that was a bad half for us. That's been an excellent half, and let's just keep it going. We've got a Nicholas Walker with a super chat here. Clubs spend millions on dietary coaches to make sure that make sure teams are top level, and yet Spurs are winning after a 3-day bender. Yeah, I mean, I think but that's the thing. A one-off, turbo few nights out, you can play and win. If you're doing that every week, you'd probably struggle. But a bit of confidence.
Oh,
is it Cobby? Cobby's coming on. Not sure who for. Potentially for Dallo.
For Dallo. So has he already just picked up an injury, or
He must have. Fucking hell.
bit
Been back in the squad for 2 weeks or a week. Is it Dallo?
Thought it would be like
Voice of
Casemiro
Joe Cole. Dallo apparently.
What?
That must be an injury.
Yeah, has to be, because he's been on.
Because he
for
would have just
20
brought
minutes,
Cobby on if he wasn't bothered, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. So how are we going to work now then? What are we doing? 4 at the back? How are we going to play here? Trying to think of the actual team now.
Who have we got as our midfield too? Bruno and Casemiro at the moment.
Yeah.
So maybe Mount goes into a wing back.
Ahmad will go wing back, won't he? He's done it before.
Where was?
So you're going to have Mainu as a 10, Mainu and Mount behind Højlund, Ahmad as a wing back.
Oh yeah.
Casemiro, Bruno.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm personally very relaxed about the Kobbie Mainoo situation, but I know there are a lot of fans who are quite worried about where he fits long term. So it'd be nice to see him, have a good performance today off the bench and kind of gain back a little bit of momentum that he's obviously lost this season. But long term, I'm still, really not worried about him, because I think top players always make it work.
Yeah, and there's too much talent there for it to not work. I think.
Talent,
I think he's just too good on the ball. He reads the game too well.
Mm-hmm.
Smart player, smart person as well. I think that helps.
It actually does. I think that's quite understated in terms of how intelligence off the pitch can transmit to the field. I think Adam Wharton got an A star. He got like 2 A stars and an A at
A level.
Did he?
Yeah.
Nerd.
Saka
was
did
a nerd.
really well in his GCSEs.
Yeah, Saka. It was the other one. United.
Trent.
Was it? No, I'm thinking of
Lenny Yoro.
Fuck's sake.
Apparently he was good in. Hannibal Mejbri was really good in school. Apparently.
Was he?
Which is,
Yeah, because I know Trent was like a straight A student as well.
yeah.
Oh my God! Is
maybe,
it
maybe Bellingham? I don't know.
centre back who played for United's academy? Came through the last few years.
Camboila.
No. Was on loan at Villa when they were in the
Tuanzebe.
Championship. Yeah. Tuanzebe got like 12 A stars at GCSE.
I think that Camboila was really
Did it?
academic as well. Yeah. Interesting.
Yes.
I think the thing is, it's not always like intellect. It's just that footballers that are elite, and it's obvious they're going to be like footballers or along them lines. They slack off their attention to school more than anything else.
Yeah.
Interesting though, isn't it? I watched
Because I had a full year at school where I wasn't in for Wednesday afternoons.
So I
missed the same classes. Huh?
That's when they do all the best stuff.
That's when I did. Yeah, when I had day release.
I've got a cousin who was in the same Charlton Academy group as Joe Gomez, Ezra Konsa, a couple other big players, and he got offered a pro contract, but he said he wants to stick with his A levels, and he's now in cyber security.
Bloody hell! Does he regret it?
You wouldn't know him. He's sometimes I think so, because He actually played under Adam Lawrence, United's.
Did he?
Obviously under 18 coach who's
Not
just
obviously
left.
A lot of money in
to kick a man while he's
cybersecurity.
down, but those you can go and get your A levels at any age.
Yeah. I think Charlton weren't offering him like the full pro contract or something. There was some sort of decision.
It kind of fair enough.
He's got a good career in cybersecurity. I think.
He's in a great
not the worst.
position.
He'll be all right.
But yeah, that's a decision that a lot of academy players have to make at a certain point.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting.
Heaven on the ball there, just lifting one. Not quite enough on it to Dogu there. I'm not sure that pass was on really because.
Yeah, he's being marked.
Yeah.
Cheeto's out there warming up.
Matt G says, do you think Ruben Amorim rates Ugarte? His sporting team improved after they replaced him with Hjulmund.
I don't think he does, to be honest. I think a lot of people assumed that he loved him because Ugarte played some of his best.
I don't know.
football.
Teams have a knack of improving once he leaves.
Yeah,
I think that's harsh. That's a very harsh trend to point out and kind of attribute to him, I think. And you know it is as well. That's why you laugh at.
It's bad, man.
I think that's. I think
is it harsh but true?
Well, it might be true, but it doesn't necessarily. The correlation doesn't equal causation.
It's not necessarily causation there, but
that's like
I'll reserve comment.
But we talked about a lot of the players who left PSG in the last few years, and they've improved
true.
since. And not that
Mbappe's
I'm going to say Messi and Ugarte are on the same level, but it is true.
My honest
better after Messi left.
My honest opinion on Ugarte is that he's not great but not bad. That's it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he scored.
Højlund with the goal.
That's
It's offside.
Oh yeah.
Of course it is.
Yeah, of course.
You can see the funny side of it, innit?
Really?
Yeah. Casemiro wins the first header. Højlund, nice poacher's goal actually.
Yeah,
It's
good.
just a shame he's not
Good
half a yard further back.
He won the header.
Yeah, good
Casemiro.
instinct. Good instinct to get onto that.
Yeah.
It's just him or Maguire. It's like a rotation.
Unlucky there.
Hopefully that pushes them on to
Yeah,
get another.
it was offside for sure.
Yeah, he was comfortably off, wasn't he?
Ooh, Brighton have equalised against Tottenham. Ipswich have equalised against
If Tottenham lose now.
West Ham as well. Broadhead. Not that that's going to matter to anyone.
I've always said that.
Ooh, Chelsea have scored against Fulham though. That does
That's
matter.
quite big.
Levi Colwill with a goal, and you're not going to believe I've got him in my fantasy
against
team.
Fulham.
Against Forest. Fucking Colwill. He's brought it home. I think Colwill might have brought it home there, everyone.
Yeah.
Not that anyone cares.
He's
It
a
would
bit
be much
underrated,
better
I
if you
think.
had a thing where it was like you win.
That's a lovely switch.
Like
up
you
to
win
Ahmad on the right.
goal there.
Come on.
Money.
I do.
Oh, how much do you win?
150
Hit it.
quid.
Bruno!
Oh! I thought that was in! Even after it went wide, I thought that was
I
in.
thought it was in.
Oh!
Squeal.
Oh, we're playing with a bit of confidence.
Good
here.
stuff, this. Yeah, 150 quid if I win this league.
You know,
Big,
Can I just say
biggest
something?
bet I've ever
Let
put
me
in my
a fiver.
life.
Can I say something
I
we
won
haven't
it,
thought
yeah.
about?
What?
Could be Bruno's last game in a United shirt.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
Oh,
You been
no.
It's been speaking like he's hearing things.
Have you heard things?
No, that's not based off any,
Yeah.
concrete.
Better not be, mate.
But
That's
all I'm saying is
Good.
it's not actually outside the realms of possibility.
Oh, God. No, let's do it. Let's
I don't
just
wanna-
do it
no,
another
I
way.
don't-
Let's do it another way. Let's keep him. Let's get rid of a few other people.
Yeah, I agree. We shouldn't.
I know you're not,
Yeah. I
telling
just
us to say-
remembered that there is something happening there, supposedly. But only a couple of days ago he went out and said, "If I move, it's not going to be a move for money." So unless a team like Real Madrid
Yeah.
come in for him, then
But he also said, if United want me to go, I'll go. So if we accept an offer from Al Hilal or whoever, does it matter whether it's a prestigious team? Will he go anyway? I hope not. And if I'm Bruno Fernandes, the money's just so much though, and it's hard to say you wouldn't take it. But
I think
he's so good. The thing that's missing from his life and career and resume isn't money. It's trophies.
He's still paid handsomely.
Yeah, he's on
United.
300 odd grand a week at United. He's not on,
undeserved.
Nah,
so, to be
there's
honest.
handsomely.
No, I
there's
know,
fucking
exactly.
I think-
70 million a year. I'm not gonna lie to you.
They're going to pay him more annually than they would pay us for the transfer fee. Or no, well,
disgrace.
65 million a year. They said.
I don't know, man.
It's a lot in it.
I just don't see how
What
you
you
can
spending
turn
on?
down that type of money, realistically.
But I think he's one of the few players who would.
Yeah,
'Cause he's just so
whether he would or not is different. But I feel like it's
ridiculous money
I don't
to-
know how you can turn down money like that in this lifetime.
But what's the
Yeah.
difference between 300k a week and $1 million or $2 million a week?
A lot. 'Cause
Really, though?
It's tax free as well.
But is it? It's
Yeah,
not.
but
I
you-
don't think it's a lot to your day-to-day life.
How does that change your lifestyle?
It doesn't.
unless-
I
A
don't
lot.
think it
I
does.
don't. I
don't
don't
think
think.
it
I
does.
think you's a. I don't know. I don't think you're realizing the amount of money he's been offered here.
No, but no,
With-
no, I'm not
but-
saying
'cause
it
he's on
doesn't-
300k a week, but he's
Yeah.
taxed almost 50% of it.
That's-
He's
yeah.
getting so he's getting call it 150.
So he's
where he's
making-
going to go and get $1 million a week, more than $1 million a week,
Okay,
on
but-
tax free. That
Yeah,
is
but
a
in terms
huge
of-
difference.
No, in terms of lifestyle,
yeah,
It's a
in
lot
terms
in
of-
terms of your bank, but what is it? How different is it in terms of what he's doing
Yeah.
day to day with his life?
In terms of lifestyle, it's not going to be any different.
Just increases it, I guess, by quite
Yeah.
a lot,
Yeah,
and
like,
also
if
it
you-
also secures probably his whole
Yes.
lineage.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great grandkids territory.
Come on,
Go on.
come on.
Okay.
What
But
if
it's
we,
not,
What if we just don't? What if we just don't score?
Bowen scored again for
I
West
think
Ham.
I've just put him in my
Sniper, innit?
FPL.
Have you?
Yeah. Let me have a check.
I'll need to check my FPL. I've not looked at my FPL in like.
Yeah.
Mate.
Southampton have equalised against Arsenal as well. 2-1 up now. West Ham against Ipswich. Brighton equalised against
I've got that thing
Tottenham.
now where my fantasy's like Casemiro hit the post then 16. I'm not surprised. I've not. I probably have players starting that aren't even fucking playing.
Oh, I didn't put Bowen in. I was going to.
Frustrating. Right, who we got? Casemiro on the ball. Bruno's making a run. He didn't go for it. He has done, but late and on his weak foot. That was weird.
Looks like Cobby's playing in one of the.
It's been an enjoyable game to watch, Brad.
Yeah, it's been a good game. Lindelof pushing up. Casemiro. It's all United, isn't it? You know, you'd expect it to be because it was anyway, and now they've got 10 men. But you need to get the ball in the back of the net. That's a foul. Lindelof again. Back to heaven. Little switch from Maguire. Dorgu.
Nice from
That's-
Dorgu.
he's
A
bit
bit
hit that
too.
there.
Yeah, a bit too much on the ball.
Too much.
Yeah, I think the thing that helps United is the World Cup next. Is it World Cup?
Yeah.
Next year. And I feel like Bruno wants to be playing competitive European football
That's
on
true.
course
that's
to,
true. Yeah.
to World Cup football. I'm
That's
pretty
good.
sure that's another thing that's a thought process.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I just think if it was anyone else, I'd be a bit worried. But he's a man of such like competitive drive, and I don't want to say integrity because it's not. You don't necessarily have to lack integrity to take an offer like that. But I just think he's one of the few players in world football who could turn down that money.
Yeah.
Great run.
Lovely ball. Come on.
Unlucky there.
Unlucky.
That's good centre forward play.
Was that heaven? The ball. Or Dorgu?
I'm not sure actually. I didn't clock it. It was good run and good cross from. Big goal. Cut back. Why are you there?
Oh,
Why have you gone to the ball? Come away. Find some space.
to be fair, it was a bit behind him, but could he have?
It's not just Hoyland's fault there, but here Hoyland, when this ball gets lost here, he needs to find space.
Great pressing from Cobby.
Oh yeah, he could.
And
Okay,
the
I
thing
get
is-
I get what Joel said.
He runs
He
to
could.
the ball
He
and closes it all down.
He didn't make the greatest angle there.
If he drops back by 2 steps,
Yeah.
he's completely wide open in the box. Unlucky though. United, it feels like a goal's coming, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah. Battering him, really. Just looking at the stat, yeah, 12 shots. They've still only had one. No shots the second half. 70% possession, 68% possession for United as well. Complete control. Although they'll probably fucking score now. I've said that. Good block. Dorgu there.
Defensively, Dorgu's been really, really impressive.
Yeah, he has. He has.
I just think he's top.
Yeah.
Really, really think he's been a fantastic signing.
20 million as well.
Yeah.
It's not.
I've
not
been
spent a lot,
really
have we?
surprised at. I maybe less surprising because, I understand the frustration of fans, and maybe it's easy to take that out on a new player. because it's kind of representative of Ineos and their recruitment or whatever. But I just think he's been really positive overall.
He's going to nick it.
Trademark.
Yeah, come on.
Here.
Go on.
Rasmus is in.
Let's have another red. Go on, Rasmus. Too slow.
Unlucky.
Not bad.
It's a nice
Shame there. But he didn't do too much wrong.
No.
He's been alive on the back passes, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's done well running into space today. He's,
I'm not sure. If you're Madison, how do you think you're going to head the ball 30 yards there on the bounce?
I don't know. What was he trying to do? Head it forward?
He was trying to head it back to the keeper.
Yeah, no, impossible.
Nah,
You got a standing jump and the ball's dropping straight.
The ball's bouncing down him. He's thought, I'm going to head this 35 yards.
No, I didn't
to the keeper.
realise that.
Foul?
Foul.
Nice. Just all over them.
Yeah, we are.
They need like a triple change, don't they?
Triple cheeseburger. Sorry, I'm hungry.
I'm actually starving. I've not eaten anything today.
Have you not? I
have this mistake sometimes.
a leftover lamb chop from last night and 2 fried eggs. It's not a bad meal, is it? Oh no, actually, I've had more than that. Yeah, I've had loads actually. I shouldn't even be hungry. I had a baguette from Greg's on the way.
I get really confused by those days where I've eaten loads in the day and I'm still starving. And I'm a bit like,
what you need?
Fuck. Olive oil. Yeah, I need to say that.
Are you still guzzling that shit down?
Yeah.
Every day.
He puts it on everything.
I feel amazing.
Do you?
Yeah.
You put it on your pillow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can smell a Tudor will be winner.
Do you think?
Yeah.
That's if he gets enough
It's
minutes.
manifestation.
If he comes on, yeah. I think if you're Amorim though, and you've got any chance that Højlund's here next season, you probably keep him on because he looks like he actually might get a goal today. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a chance to build his confidence.
I think he's gone.
I don't know, but I think we are getting to a point where we're going to struggle to get rid of all of these players.
True, but
Like
there's
Shaw,
hope.
Onana.
There's hope. I mean, I've seen Inter, Napoli.
cross.
Good cross.
Come on.
Go on.
Casemiro.
Oh,
slicey.
It might just be the story of this game.
Stinker. Unlucky.
How many chances?
A lot of chances so far.
Again, another great ball from Dorgu.
Was that a nod down from Højlund or was that the defender? Because if it was a nod down, that's good centre forward play that, but I don't think it was it? No. I'm in heaven. Come on. Huge day. Tielemans coming on here, look. And a couple others as well by the looks of it. Ramsey? Is that Jacob Ramsey?
Yeah.
If you had to, let's say Man United just ceased to exist, who would you support if you had to?
I wouldn't watch football.
Yes, you would, because you still watch leagues and teams that you don't support now.
I just wouldn't support anyone.
Would you not?
I just can't really picture supporting anyone.
Not that you would you'd ever have the same love for them. You wouldn't have that same like.
Maybe Villa. But I like Villa are cool.
Villa are cool.
Geographically, from where I grew up, it would probably be Brighton.
Would it?
Yeah.
Stockport County.
That'd be geographically to me. I can see the stadium from my back window. Yeah, I don't know who mine would be. I just put Man United. Don't know why you'd say anyone else.
Oh no.
Newton Heath,
fans you lot.
maybe.
Probably Sheffield United if I had to pick one. But I don't really care.
I love Sheffield. Beautiful city.
Yeah. Again, geographically, it's the nearest football league team to where I grew up. Actually, it's probably Mansfield technically, but I've never had any affiliation with them. No one supports Mansfield.
I'm sorry, but we can't go through. Oh.
Heaven's injured.
Heaven's sake.
Very nice. John Bolt says Plymouth Argyle. Insane Thinker says you would be City fans. No, we wouldn't.
Ross Murphy says heaven down. So it's no.
Heaven has fallen. Fucking hell. What's up with him? Onana coming off for Yuri Tielemans. Fucking hell, what's the matter with Heaven?
Is do we know if Lissandro is going to be back for the start of the season, or will it?
I've not seen anything on that.
This will be really disappointing for Heaven if he's injured. Because again, hasn't put a foot wrong.
Excellent again, yeah.
He's been good, man.
He might be able to walk this one off, hopefully. But we'll see.
Who we've got on the bench?
Such a big fan of him, honestly. He's really surprised me since coming into the club.
Yeah, we've not seen a replay of anything. He's shaking his head. I can't tell if that's.
Was it non-contact or Amarim's called to the bench?
Yeah, gonna have to. I think it'll probably be Fredrickson, won't it?
Yeah.
Johnny
Johnny Evans
Evans
getting a send-off.
Johnny Evans and Ericsson, look, yeah, both of them getting a send-off.
This would have been a good scenario as well, with piling the pressure on, playing well. I know it's 0-0. The opposition's got 10 men. If we did have a couple of attacking youngsters, we'll see him.
Well, I just hope Cheeto's given a chance. I don't,
Yeah.
Surprised he didn't start.
What's happened to the England under-17s as well, by the way? They're meant to have a super team.
Oh, it's
not bad.
insane. They've got the best team, the best group of players I've ever seen at an England youth, age group. There's some criticism around the
gaffer,
the coaching and the gaffer. It's Neil Ryan.
Brighton have taken the lead against Tottenham.
I mean, you've got
Hinshelwood with a double today.
Max Dowman.
I think I'm pretty sure.
Don't concede now.
I'm pretty sure Hinshelwood's got about 8 Premier League goals this season, and he's like a pseudo right back. Barely, I don't know.
There's always a few of them every season where you look back, you'll do a
Great
long look at who's
Ahmad.
got the most goals and assists, and
He
there'll be players on there you think
he pops
barely
up
heard
with
of him all
goals
season.
all the time.
Yeah.
Ahmad did brilliantly there to defend
did.
that. Oh, we've lost a little bit
United
of
up to
energy in this
16th
game.
as well with that Brighton goal. What a
We're
moment!
climbing higher and
What a
higher.
moment- What a moment for the football club. Chelsea.
Wait, Aiden Evans back on, fine.
That's good.
Was it cramp?
It didn't look like it, did it? But I don't know. Maybe just a bang.
He might have just caught a little contact injury without it being on camera. But yeah, I feel like it's gone under the radar a little bit.
Oh, Watkins is in here.
Oh dear.
He's
taken
them
it
touches
way
were
too far wide there.
hell.
He
Clunky, them, innit?
There was like 3 touches in. I think he
Offside
must have
anyway.
known he was offside there because there was like 3 touches in a row that got progressively worse.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's
Just.
with the.
But the first touch is bad, the second touch is worse, and the third one is just like chance done.
Yeah.
That was poor
He's
from
been
Watkins
really
there.
poor today.
He has. Really poor. Yeah, couple of send-offs here. Johnny Evans, been at Man United on and off for what, 15 years? In the first team. Good lad. Christian Eriksen as well. Final appearance. Been a good signing that on a free transfer. Can't argue with that, can you? Overall, Eriksen.
Yeah, I think overall can't really have any complaints about him, but definitely time to move on.
Definitely, I think the fact that Evans came in last season and played so many games. I think he was our second highest appearance maker at centre back.
But
Mad.
I think when you take those kind of things into context, again, nothing against Johnny Evans, but it's kind of no wonder we're in the position.
Woo!
What a cross!
Unlucky.
That was a great.
It's a great cross from Mano. Everton have scored against Newcastle.
Ooh. Newcastle.
Alcaraz with the goal.
So Villa even
Mikolenko
with a
the
draw
assist.
could. Fifth is still Champions League football or not?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So even with a draw here,
That's
Villa could
big.
get-
Newcastle. I think I'm not gonna lie to you. Newcastle finishing in Europa instead of will be big.
In what sense?
So, I think they money and also they might lose Isak.
Yeah.
Did you think Isak was going anyway, regardless?
My only thing with the Isak thing is who's going to buy him? Who can afford him?
Arsenal,
And he's
Liverpool.
also, I think, what's hurt his value
Maybe.
is he's quite thingy prone, isn't he?
Injury prone.
He's very injury prone,
Yeah.
which does hurt your value.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're not playing 50 games a season,
People don't want to be paying 120 million for a striker that's like got a hammy like 3-4 times a season.
Yeah,
A season
regardless.
where he misses 2 games there,
Yeah.
1 game there.
Switch.
Yeah.
Ooh. Nice.
Oh,
Bruno, decent strike, just wide.
I
Unlucky.
feel like he was always being dragged, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, let's get Cheeto on now. If we don't score in this game,
Do you know what this game's actually felt like? The first game of the season to me.
yeah,
Do you know where you're like we like, wow, we've got a bit of energy. Like we've started
No.
the season.
you know,
Like
maybe that's a good way to
it
look
feels
at
like
it.
the first day of the season. Hopefully, it's the first of a new way of United controlling games. But I'm shocked that I'm shocked at how.
do you
poor
think Villa
have been.
deserve Champions League football because of how they accounted for themselves in this campaign, the Champions League campaign?
They were good, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
they
I
held their
just
own.
think it's. I was surprised that come the end of the season they have even been in with a shout of Champions League football.
I do
don't
like.
feel like they've
I
been
do
anywhere near as
also
good
like
this year.
Villa more than Newcastle.
Yeah, and I like they're there as well because like,
As a
proper
club.
football and stuff, not new owners, being owned by a state.
I'd ask people in the chat. Who would you rather get Champions League football? I know you don't
Villa,
really
Newcastle,
care, but if you had to
Forest or
answer,
Chelsea?
no, Villa or Newcastle.
Okay.
I'm interested to see what people know because I feel like I prefer Villa as a club.
Yeah, Villa by far.
Exactly.
A lot of people saying Villa. Yeah.
I feel like United we don't have any issue. Never really had much issue with Villa, but Newcastle the fan base has gone a bit weird as well.
People are saying about syncing up the clocks. The clocks are completely synced up.
Yeah.
The clock that we've got down here, I don't know if that's been changed,
Bruno.
but it's
What
synced
about
up with
Sunderland
what we're
returning
watching.
into the league as well? Everyone's like, Timeway Derby's back.
Everyone's saying Villa.
Yeah.
I don't mind Sunderland being in the Premier League. They feel like they should be here, don't they?
Yeah, I quite like Sunderland coming up, and it's a great story.
Yeah. Have they been filming it all still, or have they stopped that now? Because finally the one where you'd want to release it, Sunderland Till I Die, but they've not done that for a bit, have they?
Isn't it already out?
What, this one?
Not. Yeah, I guess not the.
Surely not. Don't know. Yeah, I don't mind Sunderland being up. Burnley as well. Kind of a... Fucking hell. What's going on here? What are they playing at, Villa? Villa have been absolutely shit today, haven't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah, they've been so bad.
Like, what the fuck are they... What are they playing at? Chance for Champions League football, and they turn up like this.
Maybe it's because they know
They might
now
even
a
win this
draw.
game, but you'd be so annoyed if you're a Villa fan. We just lose all the time to everyone in the Premier League. And even before the red card, they were shocking. Maybe they'll turn it around. Fucking
They
hell.
just look so flat.
Every
don't
one
they?
of-
They look knackered.
Every one of Watkins,
That's a good pass.
Ooh.
He's offside there.
every one of Watkins' actions today have been bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been really, really poor. Missing
Yeah.
John Duran, I think.
Good pass. Good touch as well.
If you're Villa, because Duran's not fully up in Saudi, do you sell Watkins
And buy Duran back.
and get Duran back? Because you probably actually get him. You actually probably get him for a lot less than you sold him for.
I don't know what.
Because I don't know what the Saudi teams are like when it comes to like, because they don't really need money, do they?
No.
So it's like they'll buy someone for 70 million. If the player's not doing bits there and wants to leave, they'll just happily
Yeah.
sell him for like 40.
It's a good ball from Maguire. That. I don't know with Watkins because he's one of those players that every year.
No, because
I watch
he's
him
been
and
quite
go,
vocal.
he's
That
alright.
he's been quite vocal that he wants to like. That it looks like he wants to leave, and he's a big Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
He's
I don't think
he's
he's
turning
at the level. I think last season he could have got a move, but now he's just
turning
not.
30.
But you look at him and every season you
Come
go,
on.
fucking hell, I didn't realise he had that many goals.
There was nothing in that.
He got 16 league goals this season. 16 this season, 19 the season before that, 15 before that, 11 before
Very
that,
quiet
14 before
16
that.
goal season.
That's what I mean. Like
Fucking hell,
you
that's
watch him
still
and you
good
go,
return.
fucking hell, how's he done that? But the one thing that is good about him that kind of helps with that is that he plays every game. 37 games, 37, 37, 35, 37 in his last 5 seasons. He's ever present and ever fit.
Could be why he's not firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, potentially. Or actually, he's not a 1 in 2 striker, is he? He's a 1 in 3 striker who plays every week, which is in itself still valuable, but maybe why Arsenal would rather get Isak than him.
Yeah.
Even though their output isn't as dissimilar as it seems.
I think Ugarte will be an unused sub again.
Possibly.
Especially now that we're...
This is what I'm saying.
Especially
I
now that
don't
we're
think he's
chasing the
rated at
game.
all.
What?
Oh my God.
I don't know why he's given a free kick there.
Disallowed.
Bayern Deer's got a weird one there, you know.
I don't think he has. I think they're going to overturn this.
I don't think
Bayern
you
Deer's-
can. You can because they can't overturn that.
Why?
Because he's.
Oh, actually, no, that's a foul.
That's not a foul.
It is.
He's not got the ball.
He's got the
He's
the
fucking
ball's
fucked
touching.
that
The
one.
ball's touching his hands. You can't kick it.
Is that the rule?
Yeah. If the goalkeeper's got the ball in
Yeah.
his hands, you can't kick out his
Yeah,
hands.
yeah, yeah,
That's a
yeah.
foul.
I
Even
thought
though
it was like secure.
I think if it's touching the keeper's hands like that, you can't kick your toe in.
Yeah, first. I don't think. Wait, did VAR have it now? It's not. It doesn't look like to me like he's got control of that. That's like saying if a keeper saves it and parries it just a yard in front.
No, but it's not the same. But we all concede that that's not the same. He's gathering the ball into his hands. The ball's touching his hands when he kicks it.
I
I'd be shocked
think
if
it's a
that's
foul, but I
overturned.
feel like Bayern Deer.
Bayern Deer fucks it up. I'm not. I don't think
yeah.
Bayern Deer's like done amazingly there. I just think you can't kick the ball when it's in between the goalkeeper's two hands. Surely.
Look at this quad angle they've got going on.
What the hell is this? Quad box.
Cinematic. Who's been given a yellow? Morgan Rogers or?
Is that? I don't know the rule.
I'd be shocked if they overturn that.
It's obviously gone.
Is it not? Is it
Wow.
no
Yeah,
goal?
They've kept it.
Yeah. I think let's have a look.
Well,
Let's find the rules.
refer to the rule book.
Let me find this.
Not the best of efforts from Dorgal on his weak foot there.
A goalkeeper. Right, here we go. A goalkeeper is considered to be in control of the ball with the hand/hands when the ball is between the hands or between the hand and any surface, or by touching it with any part of the hands or arms, except if the ball rebounds from the goalkeeper or the goalkeeper has made a save. Holding the.
I think it's a suggestion that it's maybe because the whistle had already gone. They just played
Yeah, there was that.
the whistle going before the ball.
So they're suggesting that the whistle had already gone before the ball went in.
Went into the net, so they
So
can't
overturn
they
it.
can't
But
overturn
to me,
it.
if
That's
you
what I
read
think.
that, the ball is a goalkeeper is is considered to be in control of the ball with the hand or hands when the ball is between the hands or between the hand and any surface, e.g. ground or own body, or by touching it with any part of the hands or
It's
arms,
fouling.
except if the ball rebounds from the goalkeeper or the goalkeeper has made a save.
It started to come out of his hands. Though.
A goalkeeper cannot be challenged by an opponent when in control of the ball with the hand brackets.
but
S.
the ball had started to leave his hands before it was kicked.
I think the ball is touching
True,
one of
hello.
Bayern Deer's hands when he kicks it, personally.
Okay.
And it's between both hands. I know he's not holding it with both.
Yeah.
But I think it's very
Come on.
much...
Ahmad! Yes!
Go on, son! Lovely run at the back post there. That is brilliant from Ahmad. Great
Beautiful
cross as
header
well.
there.
Brilliant run, brilliant cross, brilliant header.
Finally.
And that should be it. That should be it.
Oh, Ahmad, what a player.
That's a brilliant goal. Absolutely brilliant.
The leap to get up there.
He's absolutely fuming as well, Emery, as you would be, because if it is your team, you're going to say Bayern Deer didn't have proper control of that. He's within his rights to try and get that ball out.
Cobby brought it down really nicely. Oh, lovely.
Yes.
Brilliant.
That's such a good goal.
Who's the cross from? Bruno. Of
Of course it is.
It's a great cross and just a nice header, innit? Keeper absolutely stuck between a rock and a hard place there. Maybe should have gone for it.
Great ball, but
But
that's
it's
a great header.
Three of
It's
United's most intelligent players linking up for that goal.
Cobby, Bruno, Ahmad.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely goal. Well done. And a deserved goal as well from Manchester United. We've been comfortably the better side, and
Just
finally
showing a little replay
we've
of the contentious.
made it count.
Oh,
So they've
what, so
confirmed,
they're
so
saying
they've
it-
confirmed that they couldn't check it properly because the whistle had already
That's
gone.
the thing. It does come out of his hands before it's kicked.
It's touch and go, innit?
Every-
It's touch and go. They certainly shouldn't have blown the whistle, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But either United have
that'll
got
go down
lucky,
as a
or
reffing error.
they'll say that the ball was between his hands and the floor, or hand and the floor. Don't know. It's a close one, isn't it? City have doubled their lead as well. Haaland with a penalty.
Still exists.
That's pretty sick. Yeah, Haaland still exists.
So does that change
Bournemouth have
things?
scored as well.
So Villa, does that mean
Semenyo.
that
do
mean
you
it's
think of-
now Newcastle Champions League football?
There we go. Yes.
Yeah.
Newcastle up into 5th. Look at no offence, but fucking state of them three. Villa, Forest, and Newcastle. All three of them losing as they try and get Champions League football. I know one of them's playing Chelsea, so you can maybe
Come on.
give them a bit of a break there, Forest. But
The
embarrassing.
pressure in it.
Let's have
Just
another.
pressure.
Yeah, it's such a big thing.
Come on, Rasmus.
Oh, Bruno hurt himself there.
Casemiro's spent the last 15-20 minutes trying to just score screamers
Yeah,
only.
he just keeps
Do you know what
hitting
I
it
mean?
first time.
Just
no
hitting
matter
like first time volleys
This
and
is
shit.
his
Like,
moment.
thinking one of them's gonna fly in.
what. Is that
Wolves have equalised
Tielemans
against
on the floor?
Brentford as well. Liverpool losing at home as well so far.
Cheeto
Which means nothing.
getting ready to
means
come in now.
Oh.
Shocking end to the season for Liverpool, though. The one thing that we can take from that is, hopefully, maybe there'll be a little bit of
Shocking into the season.
a little lack of confidence from Liverpool. What?
So
They've
wait,
only
are you,
won one of the last like 7 games, haven't they? Something like that.
you mean
Well,
since
it's
they
kind
won
of-
the league?
Kind of
No,
by design, isn't
I'm
it?
not. I'm not saying that it's affecting the league, but I
No, but
I'd
they've
rather-
obviously
I'd-
they've obviously just
Yeah,
thrown it in
yeah.
basically since.
but I'd
the
rather they lose the last 6 games. Not that they've
Yeah,
lost
but I
the
mean,
last-
but
than
using
win
that as
them.
like, oh, they might like. I can't really judge Liverpool's performances after they won the league if they've just basically been on a bender ever since.
Yeah. No,
You know what I mean? That's what I
you're right.
mean. That's more. I'm hoping
Well,
you're right, but
Cobby. I don't think it'll have much of an effect.
I don't think they're winning the league next season.
They're going to spend like they want to.
Nice,
Tackle
what a
there.
tackle.
Come on, Johnny. Because
Bruno Ins-
Looking like they're going to spend 250 million in it or thereabouts. Liverpool.
Who's this? Yeah, one of the biggest summers.
At least
I mean, it'll
200.
probably be their biggest summer ever, won't it?
they've got a lot of fucking money in
Verts alone
reserve.
is...
They got a lot of money in reserve. They've not spent big past couple windows.
Unfortunately, it's
They
kind of
bought
the best
basically no
time.
one last summer as well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's kind of the perfect time for them to be solidifying their position.
I think they
you
can
know.
spend like 250, 300 without even like sales.
So here comes
And then
Cheeto.
when they're going to be selling Darwin Núñez for 75 million to Saudi,
Yeah, it is a little bit,
Bollocks, that,
little
innit?
bit worrying.
they've got
that.
some.
Such a get out of jail free card, that. Because if they'd probably get 40 million from him anyway, but that's
No,
another
it's not. it'll be
25.
more, no,
30
it's not
million.
40 because the Saudi team actually bidded in January, like 70 million.
No, I don't
Sorry,
mean
who's
that. I'm
this
saying
about?
if he wasn't going to Saudi,
Oh yeah,
I think they'd get probably about
Yeah,
40
yeah,
for him.
Yeah.
Who's this? Sorry.
Darwin
Darwin
Núñez.
Núñez.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
yet you've got, whereas like Bruno probably is worth 80 million.
Oh, he's worth more than that.
Yeah. And
Really?
yet we're going to get the same for him or thereabouts that they're going to get for Darwin Núñez.
Ericsson's gonna. I don't think it is 120 million for Wirtz either. I think the.
Oh, that's nice. Oh.
I think the fees not been. I think the fees much less for teams outside. I think Bayern was 125 million. I don't think the price tag's 125 million for
I thought it was 150.
150 million euros.
Okay, so what's that?
That was the
That's
price
one-
quoted to Bayern. So Leverkusen have done the thing of
Yeah, the top
Bayern. If you want him, it's this much.
So
But if he
it's-
leaves the league, it's less.
So it's going to be what, like 110, 115?
I'm hearing it could be quite a lot less.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Seems like a good player.
100,
doesn't it?
100 million mark.
It's annoying because usually the story with Liverpool is that they're not able to attract that calibre.
Yeah. I wonder if probably helps like
Probably helps that they're quite good.
yeah, it helps that they're good. Probably Klopp being there for those years has maybe elevated their
I'm really,
reputation in Germany as well over the last decade or so.
I'm glad at what Klopp said about the whole Trent thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because I think it's absolutely embarrassing how they've dealt with that whole situation, the fans.
It doesn't surprise you though, does it?
No, not at all, but...
And the rumours around Gerrard
Still.
leaving and all the stuff that came with that. Bloody hell, is that what?
No,
Not Watkins. Is it?
Morgan Rogers, or is it
okay.
Watkins? Is Cobby on the left?
He's looked good, Maino, since he's come on.
Yeah, he's been bright and inventive. Sharp.
Go on, make a run. Ericsson.
Oh, I thought
He
that
hit a
might be
post.
creeping in.
Yeah, I did.
Sort of liquid football being played. It's starting to catch up now, the fact that I've not eaten today.
We must have
Is it?
had...
That stomach kind of
Yeah.
feels a little
crying
bit
out.
Yeah.
Hit the
Still
post.
squeezing a little bit. Liverpool have equalised against Palace. And it's Salah, of course. Gravenberch got sent off,
Marlon
by the way.
coming on. Oh,
Salah
really?
scored.
So
Salad.
We must have had nearly 20 attempts on goal.
Well, let me just check that for you. It'll be 22 attempts. We've had 22 attempts. They've had 2.
That is brilliant.
We've absolutely battered them, haven't we? If we're honest.
I
United
think
should have at least
the
had 2
rhetoric's
goals.
going to be not the fact that they've played awful and not deserve certain points. The rhetoric from Villa fans is going to be VAR have robbed
Yeah,
But they were...
of a Champions League place.
yeah, because of the Bayern Deer thing.
The Bayern Day.
Shit from Bayern Deer as well, innit, by the way.
It's really bad.
Let's be honest.
That was a get out of jail free
Yeah, it
for
was,
Villa,
it was.
almost.
Whether it was technically by the rules of foul or not, it was bad
Didn't
bad
need to happen.
goalkeeping from Bayern Deer, yeah. And it's a shame as well, because Bayern Deer, what's he played? 6-7 games for us?
And
He's
it
had
feels
big
like he's made
mistakes
a
in at
mistake
least
in every
3 of
game.
them. Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it?
He's not a reliable number 2.
No, he isn't. He's not at all. Especially when you look at the standard as well these days, like, was it Kivior at Liverpool? Not Kivior, sorry. What's he called? Kelleher, sorry.
Yeah.
He's like a very good, reliable keeper, isn't he?
Yeah.
And it's just...
And Ortega at City.
Ortega at City, another one.
I think the story around us potentially getting a keeper is that they're going to frame it as competition for Onana.
What we're going
I
to
think
fucking...
it'll-
What was it? 2 number 1s?
Yeah.
Like Arteta style.
But I think realistically we are buying...
Oh,
another
yeah.
number 1.
Is that Ahmad?
Come on,
Yeah, it
Ahmad.
is. Oh, that's a foul.
Look, he's even put his hands
Yeah,
up.
he's literally told you.
Oh,
God.
fuck. Oh, no.
It's in his ankle.
Penalty.
Was it outside? Was it in?
He's in the box.
I don't think it was in the
No,
box.
I think
but-
the linesman must have just said it was in the box.
I'm a bit worried about Ahmad here. Looks like he's really hurt
I
his
think
ankle.
he slipped
Rolled
and
his
gone
ankle,
through his
rolled
ankle, hasn't he? Look at Emery. Absolutely lost his head.
I feel like even if you feel like the ref's been weird at a couple points, you've played so shy
Yeah,
that it's
you
like
are.
you can't really have.
It's definitely in the box,
Yes.
whatever it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, yeah. It's an accident, isn't it? But
He's accidental, but
he stands on Ahmad's ankle. It's a foul.
Oh.
Twists it. Yeah, that's a
Ouch.
foul. Go on, Bruno. Finish him off.
Give it Cheeto.
Finish me off. West Ham have got another one against Ipswich. Who is it? Kudus. Come on. Is letting Johnny Evans have it?
Have you left upstairs open, by the way?
I haven't been upstairs.
Oh.
I've got my key there if you need it.
I've got a back door for you in Ali Aston.
Okay. Right, penalty to Manchester United.
I'll unlock your door.
Don't give...
Are they not Johnny Evans?
Arsenal have got a goal against Odegaard has scored as well. Brighton have got another one against Tottenham. Fuck off. They won't give a single fuck though, will they, Tottenham? Annoyingly.
Ericsson take it.
Oh, might as well let
I don't
fucking-
do that. I'm on about
Should've
goals
given
Let
Goals
Ten Hag have
Christmas.
it. Fucking hell.
I think Make-A-Wish pens, they always get missed,
Yeah,
don't
they
they?
do.
Cheeto,
I'm
we
sick
should
of
be
this
on it.
Make-A-Wish shit.
Oh dear.
You know, transfer
He's gonna
market,
miss it,
which you
isn't it?
use, do you know if Ericsson scores this,
It's an assist for
Ahmad will get an assist. That's why I use FOTMob now, I use.
Right. Go on, Christian. Maybe last touch in the United
Should give it
shirt.
Cheeto.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yes. Well done,
Okay,
lads.
goal.
Well done. 2-0. Villa's hopes of Champions League football dashed.
Decent send.
Done.
for the Danes.
Only themselves to blame.
Raining. Is that
Yeah,
rain?
it's going to rain all week apparently.
Is it raining tonight?
Hey
Nice.
Bruno.
Eriksen with the goal. It's been one of the most comfortable and emphatic wins of Manchester United season against a team challenging for Champions League football until today. I can't believe this game has gone the way it has.
Nothing in this season has made any sense.
No, we've completely dominated this game, and you know what? I think that this has probably been the best performance under Ruben Amorim.
Yeah.
We've had 68% possession. We've had 23 shots to Villa's 2. We've had 482 passes to their 188, more than double the number of passes they've had. We've had 4 big chances, 9 shots on target. Villa have had 0 shots on target all game. This is absolutely crazy, this. And Villa, literally, were a win away from Champions League football. And we haven't won a game in 6. Or in 8, sorry. 6 of and lost 6 of our last 8. What's that?
Mental.
It is mental.
Is Ahmad? Oh, Ahmad's not even come off. He's fine.
No, he's alright.
That's brilliant. Another one?
No, he's not going to give him for that. It'd be nice though. He's thinking about it.
He might even check it, you know.
Have a think.
Because you still got to give Johnny Evans his send-off goal.
Johnny Evans needs a penalty.
Come on, ref.
Will they look at that? They will look at it, won't they? Just because that they do, but obviously they didn't see the foul, did it? Yes, Johnny. What a bizarre day this is.
Yeah.
What a bizarre performance. What a weird time to pull out a convincing, controlled, high energy, high quality performance. Bizarre.
Just so weird.
Almost infuriating, actually.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd rather we played well and won today, as we look like we have done.
Just where's it been?
But what the fuck is it? Where's this come from?
Oh. Bruno's done his shoulder.
I hope not. What done by India?
He's a bit weird.
Nice block from Eriksen.
A bit weird, isn't he, behind there?
He is a bit.
Yeah, it's just something off, isn't it?
Yeah, there's not. Yeah, something not quite right there, isn't there?
I was always a bit confused by the signing because it's not like he came in particularly highly.
I've
rated or
heard.
anything.
I've got mates that play in Turkey, Superliga, and
Yeah.
the general consensus through players and the kind of Turkish football thing is straight bafflement of how.
Yeah. Like what? Like why was that?
Not to expose, but
How he got moved to
how
United.
he got moved to United.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Do
really.
Do we need to check who his agent is?
I think
Is
sometimes
he
sometimes
SCG
that's
or?
football career. Sometimes people get really lucky.
Yeah. Brighton have got another
But didn't we pay a fee for him as well?
4-1.
Who scored it?
Gomez. D. Gomez.
I forgot they've got NPCs that spawn, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they've
And
just,
then, do you know they've got the thing is with Brighton, what people don't realise, they have really, really talented players on loan.
Yeah.
So they come back. You
Every
know as
season
well.
there's a few
So
new
they'll
ones,
come
yeah.
back and be really good, and then
everyone's like, where did he come from?
Where
But
he
they've-
come from?
yeah.
It's like Matoma. Matoma was on loan
Yeah. Caicedo
from
was
Brighton
on
for like
loan
a couple of seasons,
yeah.
and then, but I think they've got quite a few like that. But they're at the level where if they want to sell them, they've played so well
That they can just
On
sell him
loan.
straight before
Yeah.
they've even got a minute.
that they
for-
can sell them for like 20-25 million
Yeah.
without even having played for them.
So well run.
Very well.
That's why Joy.
Oh, fucking well run yourself some trophies.
Oh, don't let
Look at that. No, they are well run, obviously, and they're a team that, by their size and reputation, shouldn't even be a Premier League side, let alone a consistently top half one. So I do get that they're good, but fucking Brian.
I would kill for Belabor at United though.
Yeah, you love him, don't you?
I really think he's got everything.
Would
that
you
we
sing
need.
his name to the tune of Believer by the Monkees?
Obviously.
Sure. 8 minutes stoppage time. There you go.
Oh, that's a
Oh.
complete different song.
Look at the state of that. Newcastle, Villa and Forest, as we said before, all losing. It's going to be Chelsea finishing fourth.
And there's a rainbow.
There's a rainbow. Jim Ratcliffe scuttling out into the car park to try and find the pot of gold at the end of that rainbow, isn't he? Jim Ratcliffe spotted trying to find the end of rainbow. to boost United's transfer war chest.
See the Obi goal, yeah.
They're going to pay for the
There's
Cunha
a
transfer.
tweet,
with it.
Harvey. You can have that. Bet he don't use it. He's got his Vietnam War cap on, hasn't he? Loving life. United were linked with him, weren't they? Marlon
Yes.
from Dortmund.
I think
would
he's
have
decent,
been.
though.
He's decent, but I think it would have been another weird one. It
Yeah.
doesn't fully make sense.
Yeah, Villa fans checking their phones.
Yeah.
It's over, lads.
Europa League.
Yeah. Europa League, though, that's all right. They might actually win that. I don't think that's bad for them.
Well, especially with Emery in charge.
Yeah, you actually might win that. Full-time Liverpool, Crystal Palace, that's 1-1.
Villa might go into
Bournemouth,
that. Villa
2-0
Villa
against
might go
Leicester.
into that competition as one of the favourites, and
Yeah, they would do.
it gives them a little bit of a get out as well if they don't have a great
Is Ahmad
league
on the break?
campaign
Yeah.
of getting Champions League football.
One more.
Good touch.
Dink.
He was
Oh,
off.
he
Good
tried to
idea,
get lifted
good
there, didn't
idea.
he?
Good tackle.
Good tackle.
Anyway, I knew the slide tackle was coming.
There's your booking. There's your
Yeah.
Casemiro booking.
It wouldn't be a Casemiro performance.
Yeah,
would
no
it?
way.
God.
He loves it, doesn't he?
The frame rate always gets a bit.
Full-time, Brighton 4, or Tottenham 1, Brighton 4, Wolves 1, Brentford 1 as well. I think as it
So this
stands.
is
I
our
say as it stands.
First win in how long?
At least 8
In the
games.
league.
Ooh, Matty Cash there. Pretending like he didn't
That
get his
was the
keeper
most
sent off in the first
pre-season
half.
attempt at tackling him, though,
Yeah,
innit?
it was. Yes,
Great
Casemiro.
challenge. Good challenge.
Made up for it.
He scares me.
Yeah, there's just no confidence when the ball's cut back with Bayern there.
No, it's not at all. Go on.
You touch
4
it.
minutes left.
Let's get Chino a goal. Go on.
Bit of space there. 1-2. Ahmad's on.
Go on. Pass it!
Oh, that could have been it. He could have shot for himself, but he wanted the.
Offside anyway.
Yeah, I thought Bruno waited way too
Yeah,
long
it
to
was
pass it.
a bit of hesitation there.
Yeah, this
And
has
he's
gone
played it
straight
straight out of
pre-season,
play.
isn't it? This has got trading match.
Yeah. This game has
Very
died, hasn't it?
pre-season
Yeah.
feel.
3 minutes to go.
It felt like
Through
they'd
a
given
bit.
up from kickoff.
Yeah, it did. In the other big games as well, Newcastle losing to Everton. Not finished yet. We're in the 96th minute there.
What's the Ipswich score?
Ipswich lost 3-1 to West Ham. Chelsea still 1-0 up against Forest in the 95th minute. They've had a stinker of the last 10 games, haven't they, Forest?
Wheels have come off it.
Yeah. Are they still getting European football?
I don't think so.
Forest?
They're in 7th, so.
Conference.
They were guaranteed Europa League. I remember them saying that the other day.
Or was it I thought Europa League. Oh yeah.
I'm
And
sure they said a few weeks
which is
ago.
Conference League then?
7th.
So they're getting Conference League?
Yeah.
So
Oh, shit. I thought
how-
they were
So
guaranteed
is it only
Europa.
one in Europe? Oh yeah, because Palace.
Here you go,
Palace
Ahmad.
are in Europa.
Yeah.
Are they? Yeah.
That's rough stuff for Forest, isn't it? Conference after all that.
Ooh, corner.
Come on, get in front of your man there. Good stuff, Murdogu there.
Honestly, I think he's been fantastic.
Yeah. He's not really in the position, was he? I bet he's good on a bleep test, Dorgo.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
those,
he's,
like,
he's got a proper
constant
engine,
sprints
hasn't he?
and engine, yeah. Him and Bruno just right till the
Who
end.
would win a bleep test?
It's got to be Bruno on it,
Yeah.
surely.
It's always someone you don't think.
Do you think?
Bruno built there, but it was someone that you didn't expect.
Like,
Ahmad.
Maybe a Dallo.
sure. It could be
Ahmad,
Ahmad, yeah. 'Cause
Dallo.
it's just got
Oh!
Mason
yeah,
Mount.
Dallo. I could see Dallo.
Dallo
doing
would be
well.
up there.
Mason
Yeah.
Mount.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna lie to you, bleep test isn't just about stamina. People that usually are a bit that quick as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Well, you expend
because
less
they can
energy.
expend less energy to cover the distance.
Yeah.
That there was like I wasn't great at fitness stuff when I played, but then there was like this one called poles, which is like it's quite distancy, but like it's more about how quick you can get it done. And I used to be one of the best in the team, not through stamina, just because I could do the distance
Yeah.
at the
Just
speed
the pace.
without expending much of some energy as someone that's slower might
go?
have to. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, unlucky. Minute to go. Full time, Newcastle
The
0,
thing is with
Everton
Tudor
1.
is because he's big, but he's got such a baby face.
Yeah.
He looks
Baby
so young.
face assassin.
Tudor,
Yeah, that's really young.
I mean, he is really young, isn't he?
Yeah. The only other game that's still going is that Chelsea Forest game. Still 1-0 Chelsea. Would an equaliser change anything? Would it get him 6th? Has he got better goal difference than Villa?
At least Ruben gets to make this speech after a win.
A Forest goal would get him Europa League football. Fucking hell, they were going to be gutted, aren't they? All they had to do was not lose to Chelsea and they got Europa.
Here we go.
I might
have
have
a third.
some distance.
Cheeto, come on. He's got 2.
Oh,
Got away
keep
with
going.
it.
Come on.
Fucking hell.
Who's there? Ericsson.
He was off.
Yeah.
Full time there as well. Forest 0, Chelsea 1, and it's going to be full time as well. I think in this game.
There we go.
There you go. Full time.
Full time.
Manchester United 2, Aston Villa 0. Bizarrely, one of the best performances of the season from Manchester United. A really good game from United. Controlled the entirety of the game. Only 1 shot on target for Villa. United had 25 shots, 67% of possession. You have to ask the question, why now?
Mm-hmm.
Why can we do that after the most embarrassing loss of the last decade on Wednesday? But
I think that
I'm
would be
not
why.
going to say my nose about it.
I think the players played really free today.
Yeah.
But we also played with a lot of energy and tenacity. We were first to every single ball. We were just miles better than Villa today, and that was even before 10 men.
Yeah.
And he just kind of thought, where was this? In typical United fashion against Spurs, but I thought that was a great performance from personnel in terms of competing wise and tactically from Amorim as well. I think it was pretty much spot on performance.
And up to 15th in the end for Manchester United. Finn, thoughts?
Yeah, doesn't really mean anything, but just good to end the season with a tiny little glimmer of positivity and hope to take into the next season. There was no difference between how we played before and after the red card. We were all over them throughout the 90. Some really bright individual performances, but also as a collective, we just looked so much better than we have throughout the whole season.
Yeah.
It's a weird one. Like you said, why now? Maybe it is because of just the sheer embarrassment of the result to Spurs, but yeah, you can't complain, and you always want United to win. So, some positives to take from that.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a few super chats before we go. We're back for the review as well in a few minutes. Manny Hemanth says, both goalkeepers are bad. We need a new number 1 and number 2. Lerone Bernardo, who's been a member for 53 months. Cheers, mate. Villa will find it tough to play on Thursday and Sunday with their squad. It's not that deep. Hands up for the Panther says, how about that? We finished 15th. Suck on that, Spurs. I know it's sad, but desperate times call for desperate measures. Standard low, we go again in 25-26. And Edward Porter says, it's been a terrible season, but Stretford Paddock have been brilliant this season. Up the Paddock. Thank you very much, Edward. Obviously, we're not done. There'll be videos tomorrow. We'll hear from Andy Tate and more as well after this. And we're going to be back in just a few minutes for the post-match review. Have a little look at the season, a little look at that league table as well. So stay where you are. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, Finn. Thank you for your watch-along appearances all season as well.
Thank you for
You've
having
made
me.
a terrible season be somewhat bearable, so cheers. It's been
Cheers,
good to join you on these watch-alongs. So yeah, brilliant stuff. Thank you very much for joining us at home. Manchester United 2, Aston Villa 0. United finished 15th in the Premier League. See you in a bit.